Rumble YouTube family, what's good? What's happening? Welcome to Tuesday, True Earth Tuesday with your man Ironwork 92,000. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. We made it. Not that hard. It's only Tuesday. I get it early in the week, but hey, at least you get to spend it with me. We get to spend it with us. Me, you guys in the foundry. That's what's happening. All right, man. We starting to rack them up. Okay, first order of business. But before I start, how do I sound? Am I cutting up? Am I choppy? Hopefully not too much. How do I look? I look decent. If I look decent and I sound okay, then let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's move, let's groove. All right, before we get to our first order of business. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Okay, sounds good. That's good. Okay, I sound good. I might be a little bit choppy. Here's the thing, man. Pretty much health coach Jason. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Wanted to give the guys over on the Rumble side of the house a greeting. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm checking on y'all. What's good, sir? Yeah, man. I'm paying attention to the Rumble side. So, guys, if you haven't subscribed to me on the Rumble side, Iron Earth 92,000. Iron Earth. Thank you. Next chapter. Thank you, man. I scrub them nice. All right, man. That's perfect. Okay, we're good. Now, I'm just giving you guys a warning because now, since it's spring and it's a warm spring, a relatively warm spring, especially around here, we're getting canopy back, right? So it's starting to look much like the Endor Forest for all you Star Wars fanatics out there. You know, where the Ewoks, I think that's where the Ewoks are from, right? Or Ewok Village, something like that. Anyway, so it's starting to look like the forest that it is, right? We've got a lot of plumerage, we've got the canopy happening. So as far as propagation is concerned, it's gonna be a little bit crappy around here. Okay, just a warning. If I start cutting in and cutting out, that's just a warning to everybody. But again, first things first, and I'm happy to have you guys here. We say what's up to the people I haven't said what's up to. Shannon Emerson, it's good to see you, sis. I haven't seen our sister Shannon Emerson, one of my day ones. Mr. Warrior is another one of my day ones. It's good to see you too. David, how you doing, sir? David is in the house. Yes, he is. Good to see you, David. All right. Harmon's also here. Harmon Walker. Harmon Walker's in the house, y'all. So y'all know what it is. He's about to wreak havoc in this bitch. True Earth Whisperer, how you doing, sir? Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. It is good to see you. The next chapter's in the house. Saddle Bum is in the house. How you doing, Saddle Bum? What's good? What's good? All right. All right. We're moving. We're grooving. JJ, hey, shout out to JJ, by the way, man. JJ, thank you for that 20. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for that, man. And for anybody that sends me a Cash App or anything like that, or you just fund the cause of what ironwork is, I really appreciate anything that you give, whatever it is. It's much appreciated. And my duty is to make sure that it comes back to you, right? I don't pocket any of that money. I sincerely don't. It goes right back into what this show is. I don't pocket any of it. And like one of my biggest efforts is to ensure that it comes back to you guys in the form of things, postages, stamps, and everything else like that, that it comes back to those of you in the foundry, right? Like again, I do not pocket any of that. I seriously don't. It's energy. It's an energy transfer. You know what I'm saying? So what you give, you get back. Fair? I think that's fair. I think that's fair. So, man, it is good to see you guys. And some of you guys should be getting your postage. Some of you guys that left me addresses, if you didn't leave me an address, then y'all ain't getting no postage. I'm sorry. But for those of you that left me a postage, then you should be seeing something. No, Glenn Salk. Yeah, I wish, right? I wish. But I don't know. You know what? It's funny that you say part of the billionaire club, because maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you guys could help me out. We're going to roll into the show. I don't want to detract from the topic tonight, but I think there's something about having shit, right? And just having an abundance of things. Just things like material things. You know, Madonna would sing about being the material girl living in a material world, right? And it sounds like an impressive song, and people think they want more things. But do we really want more things, right? So when we have more money, are we really happy? And now I'm not just I'm listen, it's good to have your bills paid, right? It's good to have be debt free. Right. And that's the thing. The more you have, the more you have to lose, the more stress, the more maintenance, right? Exactly. And I like that. He who dies with the most toys still dies. That's the most important part. Cyberdyne Big Toe, how you doing, family? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, the more you have, the more you have to lose. And the more disappointment you set yourself up for, possibly way of looking at it. But I almost feel as if the more things we attain, right? Um, the more the more you the more things you attain, the more bound you are to this realm, the more of the world you become. Now, look, man, listen, if you rich and you got it like that, you just got a lot of shit because you got kids and then, toys and knickknacks and just things to, make sure that their activities go smoothly and easy. Like, I get it. I get it. But there's still things, right? Um, I don't know. Like, I've been thinking about this for quite some time now. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, man, with everything that I've touched that I call mine, that I call my own, when I die, what does that do? Right? I'm dead. I'm gone. Do I still remain here because of the amount of shit that I have? Or am I still bound to this realm because of the things that I've touched, the things that I've given some of my time to? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about people, I'm just talking about things. For example, if you're one person that likes to give your time to playing video games, so is your spirit going to be bound to your love seat, your PlayStation controller, and the PlayStation and the TV, right? If you're somebody that, I don't know, you love to sleep, So you get in your bed all the time. Every chance you get, it's your favorite bed. And then is your spirit bound to that bed? One of my things that you guys know I love, which I'm not wearing right now because it's like hot than a mug, is my robe. So with my, I guess you could say with my physical love for my robe, I just like wearing my robe. It's comfortable and it smells amazing too. It smells like me. I love it. And so with all that, like when I go, is my spirit bound to that robe? Maybe I'm sounding a little bit too new age for everybody. Maybe I sound off key. Sure. But this is something to consider. Have too much. I know people said that Schwab, like Charles, not Charles Schwab, that German guy, part of the in charge of the World Economic Forum, right? Klaus Schwab, that's his name. He's like, you shall have nothing, you shall be happy. Right? Said something to that effect. And it's weird because it's like, wow, I'm starting to think that with the more things that I have, the more annoyed I get. Not saying that I don't like my shit, right? I like my stuff. I like my map. I like my guns, obviously, and I like my weights, and I like my things, but do I really need them? And is there a point that we come to in our lives that make us more bound to this world that we live in than we need to be, right? With our love of our material things. I'm not trying to set anybody up for failure, like, I can't wait to get rid of my shit or give me your shit. I don't want no more stuff, right? That's why to me, right? That's why I feel I need to give a lot of these things away. Like I need to just offload a lot of these things. I need my laptops, right? I need them to do my functions, my daily normal functions. I need my pens because I write a lot by hand and I don't type, right? Um, but there's just so much excess. There's so many things that I have, and so many things um that I'm sure maybe we have, that we're looking at it and it's like, do I even fucking need that? So then it's out of sight, out of mind, right? Um, could I drop a lot of my stuff, sell it to eBay or sell it to Craigslist and just get rid of it? Sure. But I'm still physically bound to it. Now it makes me wonder if I need to burn that stuff just so when I die, I'm not stuck, with my video game system that I gave away, or my maps and stuff. It's not to say that I'm going to commit arson to where I live. I'm not going to do that before I go. Not at all. But yeah, it makes me wonder, do I have too much shit? Do I have too many things? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Makes me wonder. Makes me wonder. So anyway, all that to say, family, listen, if you hadn't sent me your address, if you hadn't sent me your address, if you hadn't sent me correspondence via email, hit me up on ironwork92000 at gmail.com. Matter of fact, ironwork92 at gmail.com. There you go. There it is, y'all. There it is. Read it and weep. Actually use it and weep. And actually don't weep. Just fucking send me an email, right? Send me an email, correspond with me, send me an address, talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what got you into the flat earth. Tell me what got you here. How did you get here? I haven't gotten anything from anybody as of recent as far as how you've gotten here, right? And I'm interested in your story. We're interested in your story. We still need to know how you wind up in the foundry. How do you wind up on Sav's channel? How is it that you wound up on, David Weiss's channel? How did you get here? Right? Which one of those guys woke you up to the truth? These stories need to be spoken about. They definitely need to be relayed, because maybe my story doesn't vibe with somebody else's, but maybe yours does. And maybe yours doesn't, but maybe the person adjacent to you, maybe theirs does. So who knows? But what I do knows is that we need to hear your story. So, and along with that, of course, your address and everything else. Of course, don't worry, I'm not gonna, mail a big piece of dookie in the package and fuck with your nostrils and nothing like that. I don't do that. But I'm gonna send you something nice. and nothing disgusting, I promise. But yeah, so back to the foundry real quick as you guys stroll in, you saunter in. God's watching this flat earth. Welcome, sir. Welcome. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Valley Parks is in the house. Yes, she is. Welcome, Valley Parks. It's good to see you, sis. It's good to see you. Horse shit. Good to see you, family. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. All right. Godheart Guardian, welcome, sir. It's good to see you, man. It is good to see you. Download the maps in the description link. I'm looking for this map that you okay. All right, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check on that. Thank you for putting that in there for me, JJ. Appreciate it. I'll download that right now. Let me check. Let me get there. So again, hopefully everybody's doing well. Uh, all right. Let's see. We've got. Is this the one from JJ? Is that the one you're talking about, Godheart Guardian? Go to my first comment, Vlad. Okay, let's see. Go to channel. I'm looking Godheart Guardian. Right now I'm on I am on whatchamacallit. I'm currently on StreamYard. I'm not on I'm looking for your first comment, Godheart. Having a hard time tracking it down. Give me a second. Yeah, Godheart Guardian. I don't see nothing, homie. Godheart, I don't see nothing. Hold on. Godheart, I went ahead. Godheart, go ahead, drop it again. I went ahead and I just gave you a wrench. You saw it, right? So make it right and add that. It's good to see y'all, man, as you guys start streaming in. Welcome, welcome.
Hey man, our brother Gio's in the house, guys. Hey guys, hey brother, what's up, brother? Hey, what's up, man?
Geo's in the house. YouTube deleted it? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's good to see y'all. Geo's in the house. Welcome, G. All right. While you look for that, I'm gonna go to JJ's. Oh, is this JJ's? Oh, this is Black Light's channel. Okay. Yeah. All right, Black Light. I went ahead and I subbed. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna share this right here. Boom. Copy. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump in here, y'all. And this is Black Light's channel, y'all. Boom. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin that to the top. That's our brother Black Light. That's his channel. Let's turn that thing. Let's get him to 1,000 subs already, so he ain't got to be there sitting there waiting like I did. So that right there is pinned to the top. That's our brother Black Light's channel. Black Light's channel. That's right. He got his stuff up and running. So let's show him some love. Pebbles, how you doing, sis? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Pebbles is in the house. Lord Race is in the house. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. We are moving. We are grooving. All right. Pebbles is in the house. Okay, man. All right. We are in form. Okay. So that's where it is. Thank you, JJ. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. Let's get them. Let's at least get Black Light past 350 today. At least at a minimum. We've got 58 people right here. We should have 58 thumbs. That's one, right? Also, with 58 people, we could put Black Light close to 400 subs today. Close at a minimum. Close. So let's get him over that. Okay. Let's make sure we got our brother Black Light. His channel is pinned to the top. And then while we're doing that, since we have Black Light, I'm going to do it. Correct. Hold on. Everybody that got a channel in the house. Let's see. Hold on. I don't know why. Geocentric truth. I don't know. Geo. I don't know why I don't see your shit, man. I don't know why I don't see your channel around here, bruh. Yeah, I don't see geocentric truth. I don't see his channel here. I'm trying to put you on, Holmes. So geocentric truth is another one. Let's go ahead and sub to his channel. Yeah, geocentric truth. Yeah, man, I don't see your channel up here, bro. Vlad, this is probably the most important video we need to watch. Okay, you know what? Um, Godheart Guardian went ahead and dropped this video. Okay, we're gonna get to this video because you're saying it's the most important. You know what, Godheart Guardian? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna steer this show in the direction that you're pointing right now. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this a chance. Okay, I'm gonna give this a chance because I don't know what it is you're talking about, but we're gonna take a look. Okay. Let's see, who do we have in here? Chicago Cubby Bear, how you doing, bro? Chicago Cubby Bear, welcome, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. Isabel Rennie, how you doing, ma'am? Welcome, Isabel. Or maybe you're Isobel, and you could be a guy. I don't want to be disrespecting nobody tonight, man. Tonight, I ain't with the disrespect. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. So welcome, Isobel or Isabel. Good to see you. All right. And Chicago Cubby Bears in the house, y'all. Yeah, all y'all, again, make sure you sub to our brother Black Light, man. Sub, get him, get him, get him. There we go. And don't forget to hit that like. Hit that like. That's right. Okay, Vlad, this is probably the most important video we need to watch. It will blow your mind and put everything into perspective. So I went ahead and I'm going to open that up. We're going to start with that video from Godheart Guardian, y'all. Okay. All right. Geo. Oh, perfect. Thank you, JJ. I appreciate you, bro. Hell yeah. That's Geo's channel, y'all. Make sure y'all sub to our brother Geo as well. Geo's in the house. Sub to Geo's channel. Y'all sub to our brother Geocentric Truth's channel. John Thor is in the house. Holy smoke. Big time content creator, John Thor. Welcome, sir. Welcome. John Thor, if you haven't subbed, hey, oh, look at that. Look at that. John Thor's making it happen. There we go. John Thor's doing his thing, man. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you make anything in a while, but it's good to see that you're alive. It's good to see that you're around. Welcome. John Thor, everybody. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Buttered biscuits. Hey, Brian, what's going on, man? It's good to see you, man. It is good to see you, man. We starting to pack the house. I'm glad that I came on early tonight and I didn't try to mess around and do things late. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Let me stop flapping my gums. I was going to steer this ship in a particular direction, but again, Godheart Guardian got us going in a different direction. And so I'm going to take his advice. I'm going to go ahead. Okay. All right. And I'm going to show this. I'm Godheart Guardian. I'm going to take your advice. If you guys want to kill somebody, you can't kill me. You're going to have to kill him if you don't like the content. So the pressure's on you, my friend. All right. So we're going to roll here. Godheart Guardian, man. Oh, all right. Here we go. Leaving Babylon. Babylon. Let's get it. Leaving Babylon.
Hi, and thank you for joining today for this special video revealing the land of Jesus. Straight is the gate. For the past year, I've been searching through evidence related to the North that aligns with the truth of scriptures and prophecy specifically. I have a number of playlists, and I encourage you may want to go and look through them. One of them is called Sides of the North, and I have another video that's called The River. So these videos really start to talk about the geographical, geological, historical, evidence that points to the location of what I would call the camp of the saints and the beloved.
Oh, okay. 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 Shit. We're talking about the north. Okay. I could do this. Yes, yes. Pebbles. That's right. Pebbles. This is the one that you sent me. That's right. Pebbles sent this. Wow. Okay. All right. We got some synergy going on here. Let me play the list. Let me play this.
City. And this is all aligning with scripture. So that's the purpose of my studies, and it always has been. I've also started a series called Surrounding the Camp. So I've done 4 videos in that series, and that really focuses on the buildup of evidence against Gog and Magog, who are the enemies of God and our Lord Jesus Christ. And so they're referenced in chapter 20 of Revelation. We read about the nations of Gog and Magog being deceived by Satan and surrounding the camp of the saints and the beloved city. So that's where we are right now in this series. And I will tag this into the Sides of the North series. However, this one is more groundbreaking than every one of them. It's really a chronological buildup of evidence that I've put together in all of those videos. So if you go through them, you can sort of go on the journey, if you will, with us. And a lot of people have taken this journey. So it really started on that verse in Psalms, which is the sides of the north, talks about beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. And so seeking the city in this time of growing deception in which we live has been a real call on my heart. And I know it's been the call on the heart of many people that are also engaging in these conversations. And so one of the early, I guess, insights that I had was from Matthew 7:14. And it's where Jesus is speaking, and he says, "But straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." And so it's interesting to me that the spelling of the word straight
Mm,
was not the same as what you would say is like a straight line.
mm-mm.
So a straight line would be STRIGHT. But this word was actually being spelled as straight, which is actually more of a maritime reference to a path.
Which, oh wow, Harmon, isn't this crazy? I think you guys need to see my nose for this. So that's funny that they're talking about STRAIT, the shipping lane, the maritime straits, right? The body of water between, the narrow passage and body of water and stuff. We were just looking. Who in here has ever been to southern Spain? And also, I guess you could say, who in here has been in and around, that part of the Atlantic? Who has been to northern Africa, Morocco, you know, um, Algeria, and stuff like that? Who's been there? Has anybody been there? Isobel. Isobel, see. Okay, so Isobel has been to southern Spain, excuse me, not northern. I've also been to northern Spain. I've spent many a months in northern Spain, flying missions out of there. Been to Tunisia, okay. Awakened Nemesis. Welcome, Awakened Nemesis. It's good to see you, family. Another one of my day ones. So yeah. So where do you guys recall seeing the Straits of Gibraltar? Not the Straits of Gibraltar, but rather the Rock of Gibraltar. Where do y'all recall seeing it? Yeah, Spain and Morocco. Okay, right. So right there, there's the Strait of Gibraltar, but we know the Rock of Gibraltar as well. Well, it's funny because Harmon and I, like right before I got on, we were talking about the straits, specifically the straits, but specifically even more so the Rock of Gibraltar. Yeah, on the credential. Yeah, Heresy Seed, welcome. Yeah, that's right. The rock on the credential card. That's right. Yeah. So Chris Branda, Spain is a beautiful area. I mean, I'll be honest with you, their food is trash. I hate Spanish food, except for paella. I love paella, but the rest of it, if I had more thumbs, they'd be pointing at the floor. So Spain ain't got the best cuisine, I don't think. But women are beautiful. The place is beautiful, and it's a nice vibe, I think. Uh if anybody remembers, yeah, it's in between the two continents. So between that part of Europe and that part of Africa, right? That's where the Rock of Gibraltar was. So it's a big old it's fucking promontory, right? And it sticks up out of the water, out of the Straits of Gibraltar like a thumb. Harmon caught out there that they moved it. He's like it, they moved it. And so I thought from what I remember, uh, the Rock of Gibraltar used to sit in the strait. It used to sit in the strait. I remember it. It was like separate from Spain, like between damn southern Spain and northern Africa. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. Um, nah, it's not there. It's not there at all. And it's not by itself. It's no. It's like to the northeast of southern Spain, or Turfia, or whatever it is. It's wild. I don't know if yeah, I know 16 Alpha. How you doing? Yeah, Europe, right? So I don't know if Harmon's swears up and down it's another Mandela effect thing. It's a Mandela effect thing. And I can't believe what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing, but I'm like, does if my memory serves me right, the Rock of Gibraltar sat in the water, basically like by it, stood out by itself like a sore thumb, right? In the straits. It's not there no more. It's not there. It's not there. Matter of fact, I'm talking all this mess, man, sitting there flapping my gums. Let me let me show you right now. Excuse me. Let me show you right now where it's at. This thing trying to figure itself out. Here we go. So I'm going to share with you. We're going to jump off this the Jesus show real quick, and then we're going to just real quick show you about that. And the reason I'm showing you this is because there's some small relation to the movie that we're watching right now. So let me stop that. Let me present, share screen. Boom, right there. Just so you see it. I remember it being like around here, right? Here's the Strait of Gibraltar. I want to make sure that you guys could see it. Let me blow it up for y'all so I could get my grill off of there. Carrie Skates, what's going on, family? Good to see you. Okay, so here's Morocco area, Tangiers, Quetta, Tarifa, right? Spain. But here's Gibraltar. And I'm starting to think, man, I lost my mind. I remember Gibraltar being around here. I remember Gibraltar being around there. But I mean, hell, now I'm just like, maybe it's just been here the whole time. But as a good reference, as a good backup, let me get off this thing. I guess you guys get the point. But as a good backup, there we go. As a good backup, I checked my old map. I checked my map from my atlas. Good old trusty atlas. That's exactly where it's at. So I don't know if there's a Mandela effect or something going on. The Rock of Gibraltar, very aware of ME. Have the same memory. See? Okay. See, I know I wasn't tripping, man. Okay. So you have the same, right. So the Rock of Gibraltar was like right there in the straits. Gibraltar, yeah, right. So I'm like, well, what the flip? Am I losing my damn dome? Physical evidence. There's no belief Harmon. Physical evidence. Yeah, so Harmon like lived in that area. I know Harmon spent a lot of time in Turkey and stuff like that. Well, yeah, I maybe you know what, Isabel, maybe they're changing the maps, but the physical location of Gibraltar hasn't changed, right? Maybe they're changing the maps and the physical location hasn't changed, and it's just a big mind farfignugan. You understand? Okay, so I wanted to say that just because she was talking about straits, and it's just crazy that she's talking about straight, specifically straight. And we're talking about Harmon and I were at least earlier about the Straits of Gibraltar. It's just absolutely wild. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and drop that in here for you. We're going to go back to the Jesus show, and we're going to talk about the North because very important. I think the North is going to be a topic of discussion in the flat earth community here for the next few months, possibly even the next few years to come, with all the craziness that we have going on and all that. Heresy Seed, how you doing, family? Welcome, welcome. Chris Branda, welcome, welcome. Emmy Lou, it's been a while. Haven't seen you in a while. Emmy Lou, welcome, sis. Welcome. Let's get back to it.
Passage of water between two bodies of land. And so it was very interesting to me, and I started to focus on the strait that is closest to the north in terms of like a direct line, and that's the Bering Strait, which is up between Alaska and Russia. And so I kind of started to be drawn to that area, even though, yes, there are a lot of straits in the world. That area in particular was interesting to me because it was right on the side of the north. And it even in Google, if you go look at that strait, it's described as a straight, narrow gate way.
Now, yeah, so we could run to there too, right? I'm going to be bouncing between the maps, guys, and I'm going to be bouncing between the maps and those places that she refers to. So everybody knows the Straits of Gibraltar, the Bering Strait, the Ionian, the Ionian, whatever at one time it was called, right here. So between Alaska and Russia, right here. I hope you guys could see it. This Bering Straits right here. So America on this side, and then Russia on that side. So west, east. And that thing is like the IDL or the international date line. And this is a place that we go to oftentimes on the Urbano Monte map, and it gets my attention every single time. Every single time this place gets my attention, and I could tell you what, I don't know why it's so attractive to me. It is such an attractive place, not just the beasts, not just the names of the area, because I think up in and around there on the Greenland side, I think if I'm not mistaken, they have like the Tartaria Sea. No, it's not the Greenland side, but it's more the Asia side. So the Russia side, they have like the Sea of Tartaria, the Tartarian Sea. That's what they called it back in the day, right? Like 500 years ago. It's wild. Okay, let's get back to the thing with Jesus and everything, man. I'm over here. Let me get back to it. Boom. Land of Jesus, y'all. Land of Jesus.
To the north. So very interesting to me that they even describe it as a straight, narrow gate. Google Earth. So I'm not intending for this video to be too long, but I just wanted to give you a little background on what started the investigation. So I found much evidence in the region of China as well that pointed to Christianity. And so the evidence that Jesus and the saints had spent much time in the Asian region. And when we when we read like the travels of Paul, for example, and Mark, and the apostles that went to preach the gospel to the whole world, they ended up traveling along the coast of Asia. Now, if this is your first time here, I do not believe that the coast of Asia reference is the Mediterranean. I believe it references the coast of Asia, which is China, and all along the eastern coast there. So yeah, I don't want this to be too long of a video, but we'll see how it goes. And I just want to let you know this is groundbreaking in the study of the little season. And when we're talking about Revelation 20, I'm talking about...
Guys, so if you don't recall, I know I'm jumping a lot, but just bear with me. I think what she said is noteworthy, and here's why. Let's go ahead and let me share with you this right here. Of course, we're going to go back to Urbano Monte's map, right? Like our favorite map over here. So if you guys remember, this is something that we went over in the map, right? One of the apostles died where? Right off the coast, or where he's buried, excuse me. Qui è il corpo de Saint Tommaso Apostolo. So Saint Thomas the Apostle. I don't know if this is Doubting Thomas, the one that we've all heard of, right? Doubting Thomas, the one that didn't believe that Jesus had died and wanted to like poke holes in like his hands and the stigmata wounds that he had. This is apparently where he died, in and around here, right? And this is India, if you guys just want better perspective. This right here is India. So this lady is talking well along these lines. And of course, India being part of much of the Asia continent. But okay, that's all for that. Let me go back to the movie.
About verses specifically 7 to 9. And what they say is, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sands of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. So we know that there is an adversary who is going to come against the saints and the beloved city. One thing I would say is that when we're talking about the little season, it comes specifically from those verses there. So it talks about Satan being loosed for a little season. And basically, when Jesus came and he fulfilled his, his word to the temple and to, basically bring his kingdom, the good news of the kingdom was that Jesus was doing away with sin and death and the oppression that was, part of deception, which is what Satan was wielding against mankind forever, like since the beginning. And so I think this rebellion ceased for 1,000 years, and Jesus said it, I believe it, and it happened. And I also believe that Jesus is here, and I believe that the saints are also here. So I really want to delve in now. So in Isaiah 9, 6 to 7, this is one of the most beautiful passages in scripture that was the prophecy of Jesus and what he was going to do. And so it says, for unto us the child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. Counselor, the mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Isaiah 9, 6 through 7. So let's start looking at the evidence that has been brought to my attention, I believe, by the Holy Spirit. I was sitting at my desk, doing a bit of research, but I just put my head down and I said, Lord Jesus, where are you? I said, please show us where you are. And I say that a lot. I pray that a lot. And it was as if there was this delivery to the front of my mind, and it just came out of the back of my mind in a way. It was some kind of information that had been there already, and I'll walk you through that a little bit. But what I want to show you here is I had always felt very uncomfortable with the international date line, which is on the 180th longitude.
Mm-hmm.
And why would they break it like this? What is the function changing time zones right in this area?
Well, that's a good question, and I think family that we have a good answer. What do you guys think? So, not a professional here, not a professional. But if we take a look at what this lady's got, right, we could see that these lines of longitude is curving, right? These guys treat it like it's a globe. You know what I'm saying? But then if we go to Monty's joint, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share that with y'all again. We're going to go to Monty's map real quick. Boom. Just like every other northern North Pole pointing equidistant azimuthal map, right? We got the same thing. You got one of these lines of longitude, right? You got one coming straight down. Now, have no fear, guys. Typically, what they do is they share the longitude line. This longitude goes from 180, which is this right here. Hopefully, you guys can see it, and I'm not messing it all up. But this longitude, which is 180 right here, and 0 out on the other side, right on another map. That's like the end of the map because it goes from the not the international date line, but rather Greenwich Mean line, which is like right here, and then 180 degrees out, we're right there, right? So these guys like basically have polar opposite lines between what Russia got and what England got. But here's the crazy thing is the mean time, or what we call GMT, because it starts like right here, right out of Greenwich, England, a few degrees over is where Europe typically would start their mean line. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what this mean line was called back in the day, but most Europeans, you could see a lot of the French cartographers, right? They a lot of the French cartographers, the Italian, the Spanish ones, they had their mean line start outside of Africa, where the current mean line, right, comes out of Greenwich, England, and then comes out of Africa. It's a bunch of degrees over. Why it's like that, I have no idea. But then 180 degrees out, we've got it coming out of here, right? We've got the international date line. And so you start here, go all the way around clockwise, clockwise, right? And then it ends 180 degrees out at the IDL. And the reason it fractures the way it does is because they treat it like it's a globe. At least that's what I'm seeing. Other than that, it would be straight like everything else. Y'all know what I'm saying? So I'm over here flapping my gums. Let me stop flapping my gums. I'm talking too much, man. Let me let this lady do her talking, though. Let me let this lady do her talking. Let me let her cook.
So as I went through the study, I really decided to call it the International Gate Line because I believe it's being gate kept. I believe there's been a very big cover up, and I'll show you as we go through this. So I started to wonder why, what is the mechanism? What are the mathematical magic spells that they've cast here? And it's definitely what's happened. I've said before, this is very much a smoking gun. On the international scene, when we're talking about politics and international kind of the emergence of, let's say, tensions that they build through the press, it's just a visual thing. We don't know if it's actually happening or not. Build a visual tension between certain countries. And one of the big ones is United States and Russia. And it always has been. And we can think of things like the Cold War, for example, being a time in our more recent history where many of us will remember things like the Berlin Wall being built or coming down. And some of these events that, in my mind, were kind of gates to the next level of the plan, if you will. So This area here in particular was always a smoking gun for me. I think it represents that this is not a hostile positioned for two countries to hold. Even though, yes, that area is highly militarized, if they really wanted to go to war, the war would have happened in that area, but it didn't. The war never happened in that area.
They don't want to
And I
fight.
think that's also testament to the fact that this is a hidden piece of information that we have not been given. So
They don't want
this
to fight.
area here to me is a smoking gun. I think that the Gog Magog
Yes.
countries, nations actually represent the East and the West. I think that that area in Northeast Asia that is directly sort of opposite on the map to Alaska is actually where Gog Magog were based. It's on a lot of the old maps. And then you have the United States actually purchasing that land directly across. Well, is it directly across is the question. But this to me is a very indicative position for us to look at and say there's something weird going on here. So when I started this study a couple of years ago, I came across a lady's video, and her name's Jane's Journey. And she did a very succinct, small video. I think it's about 3 to 4 minutes long, but it did get me thinking. And I did just kind of take a screenshot of one of the maps that she had put in there. So it's called the Jesus Map, her video. And she's just asking a few questions about what this means on the maps. And we'll go into that in a little bit. So thank you, Jane. I also, in my journeys through the maps, actually picked up a couple more little pieces, but I didn't know where to put them because actually I just put them in the back of my mind and kind of filed them away somewhere in my computer because I didn't really know what to do with them, because in my mind, the center north was the location that Jesus and the saints are. That was in my mind. So these two little pieces of land here just have this reference, land of Gesso. But recently in March, a friend of mine, Yanni, and I were speaking, and he shared with me some of the pictures that he had seen recently, more in the Pacific region.
Guys, and you see what she's saying. She's saying in purple right here, this video is not about Moo. But recently, I don't know if you guys know, but I've been looking in the news as well, right? And they'll say, hey, there was a yellow brick road that was found in and around this Asia Pacific, some of these Pacific areas in Asia. I don't remember exactly where they were talking, but this is what it's looking like right here. They called it the yellow road, the yellow brick road, but let's continue.
And these ones had to do with Japan, as well as the land of Mu that some people have referenced as well. And those are kind of more in the mid to South Pacific. And they were just kind of, but it got me thinking again about the Pacific. And I had just seen an article on the news that showed people finding a brick yellow road under the ocean north of Hawaii. And I'll just zoom in on this. So that road is like made of yellow brick.
There it is. Yep.
And that's the name of the Marine National Monument where they found it in that area. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try, but that, and then I joked that maybe the yellow brick road leads to the Emerald City. And if you take a line and you draw it directly up to the north, it goes directly through what we would call the Bering Strait. So there's no deviance. It's a straight line.
What?
So that all got me thinking. The international date line is a mystery. And I have not seen anyone fully answer why on one side of the date line at the Diomede Islands, at the most narrow point, allegedly, you have a 10 a.m. on a Saturday, but a 7 a.m. on a Sunday, which leaves a 3 hours of missing time. So in God's perfect world.
Okay, so we just had 16 Alpha V. 16 Alpha V, you just mentioned that. Good call, by the way. Very, very observant of you. So 60, yeah. So yeah, 16 Alpha V. Don't worry, I'm giving you your flowers, brother. You getting your flowers right now. So 16 Alpha V actually just called that out a few comments ago, and this is a big deal. Why? Something. This is and this is something that we speak of on the channel as well, right? Is the importance of time, right? The last thing we need to be doing is miss time or have time that's unaccounted for. So my thing is, why is these 3 hours? Where are these 3 hours, right? Let me tell you something. This to me, this is why shit like the globe is such a big deal. And trying to get out and break out of a habit of the globe, it's such a big deal, because now we're taking into account some shit that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't exist. You understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense. Now, I understand that time is I guess to some degree, using not as a standard, but rather, I guess you could say quantifying. Would that be the word? But organizing, I guess. Organizing time is something from us. But I think it's iodization. Iodization still occurs. We're still made of flesh and blood. We still have components of iron or something similar to that within us, right? To where we oxidize or we age, we get old, and we eventually are no more. So time is it. Time is so important. So to have just 3 hours unaccounted for, no structure for that 3 hours, what do you have to say for that? Right? I think okay, let me shut up. I think we need to go back to the video and let this lady cook. You know what I'm saying? Because I think she's probably gonna come up with her own hypothesis, but let's check it out. But this is a big deal right here. And this is actually on the map as well. We have greater and lesser Diomedes, right? We own the lesser Diomedes, the small one, and the Russians own the greater one, right there in the middle of the straits. But let's continue.
There is no missing time. There's no gaps. Things move as they should. It is a perfect clock. So why the missing time here? This seemed manufactured to me. And it seemed that they were manufacturing it for some reason. And I couldn't really figure it out. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So that's when I started praying, Lord, where are you? What is going on here? Well, what I did was I took the 3 hour missing time and I thought, how many time zones? So that 3 time zones, how big is that?
Mhm.
How much land would that be if you were to measure that? So I took just a snip across 3 time zones and took that same snip and I just created space. Well, isn't it funny that they actually use the word space for their, I would say, Babylonian assault on the heavens and on the Lord, just like Nimrod. So this
Guys,
word space is very interesting, but it also made me realize that they have entered empty space into this region here.
guys, so that's the international dateline, right? And you guys were observant. You guys caught the 3 time zones. Let me show y'all something real fast. Okay, let me get my grill up out of here, and then let me show y'all something better than that. Check this out. Boom. Giappone Isola. This is what former Japan was. 1 time zone, 2 time zones, 3rd time zone, 3 time zones. Isn't that crazy? At least this is what I'm seeing. Japan is significantly bigger. It's not shaped like a banana like we typically see on other maps, right? This is the Japan that I see. And this is the Russia or this is the eastern side of the world that we're familiar with. And this is still the United States right here. And Japan is much, much bigger. Big, giant landmass. At least this is what I'm seeing from my perspective. I haven't seen this video yet, so I don't know what this lady's going to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the rest of this lady's going to say, but before she even gets to that point, I wanted to show that to y'all. Matter of fact, let me give you guys, if y'all ain't got the map, and I'm going to share that with y'all. Okay, there it is right there. If you guys are just checking in, make sure you give a thumb up and not one down. Thumbs up, no thumbs down. Okay, and also make sure you sub to our brother John Thor, our other brother Geo, and our brother Black Light. Black Light has got his channel up and running. Okay. And Roger Ledwell, that's right. Roger Ledwell's in the house. So make sure you sub to him too. Ooh, and Jim Anus. Jim Anus. Sub to Jim Anus's channel. Jim Anus, y'all. Make sure you sub to Jim Anus's channel. That's right. Jim Anus is putting stuff out every day. Jim Anus is putting stuff out every single day, so make sure to show our brother some love. Roger Ledwell's at 289. Let's get Roger over 300, y'all. Make sure you sub to Roger Ledwell's channel. Make sure you sub to Roger Ledwell's channel. You got it, brother. Anytime, man. Anytime. The sky is the clock. It doesn't work on a globe. Therefore, we are screwed. We have the screwed up time zones. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, let's get back to the thing. So guys, I went ahead and I sent y'all Urbano Monte's map. I know that we jumped to Urbano Monte's map a lot, but I tell you what, when it comes to a complete map of where we live or where we did live or what this place appeared to have been at one time, I'd say this is the most, so far, this is like the most extensive. Okay, this is like it right here. This is, to me, this is like the standard of maps. But let me go ahead and get back to what we were watching. Where we at? There it is. Boom.
Or let's say they've created space by removing something. And so that got me wondering, I wonder what would have gone in that space if they actually did remove something. Well, isn't it interesting, when I measured 3 time zones, it is approximately 1,000 miles. And that would be, in Canada, that would be about 3 states wide. 3 provinces wide. So that would be BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. And that is approximately 1,000 miles. Now, that's huge. If anyone's not aware, that's a very big space. So I went back to old maps and I thought to myself, this one has always really intrigued me, because this area, so I started to look at the Pacific region off the Asian coast. And I keep coming back to this map, which has Jesus clearly depicted out here in the water off the coast of Asia. And actually, I think this is Japan down here.
But it's funny how they have Japan down there, because that's the Japan that we're used to seeing down there. I don't know when this map was made. I'm looking right now. I'm sure we could check it out. Somebody go in there and just check out what year this map specifically was made. I don't know which map she pulled up, but this is a good one. This looks like a really good map. This looks like a really good map, but let's let her cook. Okay, it says Chinen, like Chinese, Oceanus. Chinensis, Oceanus. Okay, so like the Chinese Sea. Okay, so I wonder if this is like the South China Sea, and this right here is like Siam. No, it can't be. It can't be Siam, this, because down there would be Japan, and Siam would be further south of Japan. But let's let her cook.
So why would they just put Jesus there out in the water? And why would they be referencing Christians on their text underneath? This is definitely Jesus, because the spear that goes into his side is biblical reference to let us know that that is Jesus. And, you know, memorably, the cross.
Also, look at the cross. I notice a lot of these crosses tend to be more on part of like the Eastern Orthodox type of worship. You understand? The guys over here where we live on the West, I don't normally see them use this type of cross. To me, all of it's still idol worship to a degree, right? Worshiping a piece of wood or a cross, it's idol worship, but that's neither here nor there. It still symbolizes how the on the east side worship the cross that they worship. They have the bar cutting across right here, bar cutting across right there, that long ass piece right here. Let's continue though.
Cross is what reminds us of Jesus and his death. So I started to look up here a little bit more, and I noticed, okay, this familiar name called Anyan, and threat means strait. So this is the Strait of Anyan. And I've seen that previously in a lot of maps. And this one actually says America on it. However, America is not that close to Asia. And yet everything else over here is proportionate. So how could this land here be called America? But, you know, I had thought that before, but I didn't really take it any further. So I started looking up old maps, and I realized that the mapping system always positions us in the middle here between Europe, Africa, North America, and South America. And we're always looking at this middle bit. And I thought, that's interesting. If you look at the top here, the land of Greenland actually looks really big, and it looks like it's all connected across. So it looks like the land at the top goes all the way across. And I started to follow it across, and I said, hey, it actually comes down here. And terra means land. And I saw this land off the coast of North America.
Yep. Y'all saw it, right? We just saw that. That's the Japan right here. Terra de see, I don't even know what the hell that is that say right there. But we just saw it. Let's go back to Monty's map. You guys should have Monty's map. So we'll zoom in. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's go back to Monty's map real fast. Disc Lord, welcome, bro. I haven't seen Disc Lord in a while. But let's take a look at Monty's map real quick. And here's Cali right here. But on hers, Cali's separated. And a lot of these old maps, Cali's just a piece of land on its own. You know what I'm saying? Cali is by itself. But this is that piece of land she's talking about. That's mad close. And then Nagasaki. Wait a minute. Nagasaki? No. You think? Is that why they had to bomb it and destroy it? What do you guys think? Nagasaki, is that why they had to destroy it? Is that why they had to bomb it? We had the truth available to us, and they had to make sure that they destroyed it, sent it into Kingdom Come. Nagasaki, so close to the United States. She's talking about that body of land. Look at the name, Nagasaki or Nagasuki. And then we have this big giant thing that encompasses 3 time zones. Almost 4. 3, almost 4 time zones. Okay. Let me stop talking, man. I'm talking too much. Let's get back to the thing. Let's let her cook, man.
And that actually says Terra de Jesu.
Naga. Good point. Good point, Disc Lord.
And it is right there in the middle of the Pacific. So that piqued my interest because it looks like it's attached to all this land up here. So I decided to look at it more.
My bad.
And I caught this, which was really interesting. So if the 180 latitude, which is the international date line, comes down here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the familiar names of the Asian Northeast locations on that side.
Hmm.
Then this is the strait that comes down next to Asia. But it actually says the Strait de Yesu.
Yes, so Jesus Strait.
Strait de Yesu. However, this over here says the Strait of Anyan, which is...
Oh. Wait a minute. Let's rewind that real quick, because usually accompanying the Strait of Anian, or the Bering Strait that we know it today, you usually have that mountain sitting up on the top that used to be the polar. It used to be a pole. It used to be a pole area. So let's bring it back a little bit.
And I caught this, which...
So yeah, usually you have a pole right outside the strait. Usually there's like a mountain. It's called Mount Verde or something like that. A little green mountain, and it was like a pole. It was a magnetic pole at one time, or that's what it's denoted as on Monty's map. You know. Matter of fact, okay. I'm gonna get back to it, y'all. Don't worry, I'll get back to it. I won't interrupt as much, but I figured I have to show this to y'all, just so we can have that as a reference, right? Let's get to it. So this right here. So this is the strait, yes? All right. Okay. So this is your strait. Stretto di Agnano. This is what it says, yes? And once you go north, this is what you see, right? In my flat sword voice. Polo de Magnete. That's what we see in and around here before it empties out into the rest, I guess you could say, of the Pacific right here. But this is one thing that we see, and then we have like Wrangel Island right here chilling. So there are a couple of things that we should see in that map. Now these things are so old, so much has happened over time. I don't see any other strait, but I would wonder if she's talking about this thing right here. I don't know what river this is, but this is Lago Conibar, right? This is the Conibar Lake, and these bodies of water right here. So I wonder if this was a strait that she could be talking about at one time. I don't know, but let's let her cook. Let me get out of this. Give it back to the lady. I apologize for that, Rumham. I apologize. Don't hit me.
Which was really interesting. So if the 180 latitude, which is the international date line, comes down here,
Memorial Gardens.
and we have the familiar names of the Asian Northeast locations on that side,
yeah,
then this
girl.
is the strait that comes down next to Asia. But it actually says the Strait de Yesu.
How you doing, Maria Walker? Maria Walker's in the house.
Strait de Yesu.
ABC, how you doing, sis?
However,
how you doing? ABC's in the house.
this over here says the Strait of Anyan, which is the one we saw next to Alaska, which means Alaska is not next to the 180 degree, the 180 latitude. And there is something in between. There is land in between. So here we have the 180 international date line. And we have the other strait over here, the Strait of Anyan. So what is this in the middle? What is this Greenland? Not Greenland, but what is this land outlined in green?
Huh. So this is the tough part. This is where I'm having a tough time, y'all. These are all time zones, right? All of these would constitute time zones, correct? Unless I'm mistaken. Am I mistaken? How are we looking at this? How are we looking at this landmass, right? Are we looking at it from a globe's perspective, or are we looking at it from a, AE perspective?
So I went to another Asian map and I found land right next to Asia.
Terra
And
de
it's
Jesus.
called Terra de Jesu.
Jesus land.
And when I type that into the Latin to English translation, it says the land of Jesus.
Yep.
Terra de Jesu.
Yep.
Which is right off the coast of Asia in these maps.
Huh.
So I thought I need to find more maps, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over here and I noticed this one is called the Strait of Anyan. And this land here is actually called Anyan, not America.
And then, wow. Okay. You know what? That's funny because this is consistent right here. Okay. This right here is consistent. You've got the Chukchi Sea around there. You've got the land of Chukchi. You've got all this stuff. Then you've got Kamchatka. Then you've got like the Kuril Islands. And then usually what we see if we look at a traditional American map, we've got the Kuril Islands, and then we've got like we've got the Aleutians, right? The Aleutians, and then it comes across real close to Russia, and then they have their set of islands. I forgot the name of it, but they have their archipelago, right? And then we have that big giant empty basin of water, like right here. You've got this big giant basin of water. South of that, you've got what they now call the Okhotsk, the Sea of O, and then you've got this right here, this big giant region right there. Geez, this is weird because a lot of this shit I've never seen in real life, and I've been in this area.
So the closest thing I could find was Aonia. There are documents on Anyan, by the way, but they mythologize it. So I'll go to those in a little bit. But initially I found this. And so it was belonging to Aonia, a region of ancient Boeotia containing the mountains of Helicon, and Catharon, sacred to the Muses or Ionian maids.
Catharon sounds like Catheria, kind of like those islands of south of Crete. Boeotia, or whatever.
Ionia may have been a district of ancient Boeotia, a region of Greece. So we know that Greece is not where they say it is either. John Milton referred to Aonian Mount as in Paradise Lost.
Huh.
So Paradise Lost is I would say an occulting of the truth. But it does kind of reference that there was a lost land. Okay,
so guys, we're going to have to kind of break that book down. We're going to have to break that poem down by John Milton. They also have the Cliff Notes version if you have a hard time with Old English, because I definitely do. And we can read it that way as well. But I'd say getting the original copy would be the best practice right now because everybody lies.
Paradise Lost and Aonian. So I started to look at maps that I've looked at before. And this map here from 1776 shows that what the chartographers did was they created this land that stuck way out from North America because they knew that in the old maps, there was land very close to North Asia.
Yes.
So they put the land way out into the water, but connected it to the Alaska land. And what happened was people started to reference that land to just being Alaska. And this is 1776. So that should give you an idea of maybe what was going on. Another map from 1776 shows a smattering of islands, and it also shows a very strange land geology in this region here. I do not believe that that represents Alaska. but I think it was moved further away so that they would actually start to think that this was actually Alaska. I think this is the land of Anian, but they have actually confused things, and I'll show you why. Eventually, we started seeing this map, and this is from 1915. And what they did as well was they actually started to create natural reserves, so bird reserves and military outposts, and they circled all these islands like you can. Or there was land out there, and I think it's still there. So what really got me started on this was I was looking at Greenland because I was trying to work on my surrounding of the camp videos, and I wanted to see a little bit more of the old depictions of Greenland. Well, what happened was I noticed that, again, it looked like it was all connected here at the top.
You know, here's the thing, guys. I do know that around, well, these maps themselves, you could use them as a almost like a series of puzzle pieces. I'm going to explain why here in a second. Now, specifically puzzle pieces, because you see how this is. This map looks like it might be from like the 17, maybe the middle 1600s. This is not a 1500s map, because one thing I noticed was in the 1500s, the maps, you could see the north. The north was detailed. It wasn't until around like 1630 they started to give you missing pieces. The map started the middle of the world. The map started looking like this shit right here. They started removing pieces of it. And this is the best that they could give you. This is why anytime I look at the Urbano Monte map, where they have that big ass overlay of the star right there at the top middle and shit, but you could see underneath the star there, it looks as if they were trying to conceal some stuff. You know what I'm saying? It looks like they were just trying to hide shit in let's go to the map, man. Let's go to the map real quick. Okay. And I'm gonna show y'all. Here's Monty's map right here. Boom. I don't know if y'all can see it. Hopefully y'all can see it right now. Okay. So if you look at Monty's map, right? I put it in the thing right there in the chat for y'all. Look at how they did. You can see a whole bunch of shit in here just erased. You know what I'm saying? They removed stuff, and this is all deliberate. Like, they made these errors on purpose. They put this, like, when I went to go see Monty's map, I know we made the video and I showed it to you guys and everything. Like, I did a video specifically on the north. It was like around 2 minutes, right? This right here looks like it was a later edition, right? Because you have things in here where they wrote about what's in the north, specifically wrote about what's in the north. Many of these older maps, like whether you're talking about Mercator or that other French dude, where they're talking about the north, every single one of these heads, right? These 4 heads, it says the same exact thing. All 4 of these heads says the same exact thing, whether it's in Latin, Italian, Portuguese, whatever. Talks about the midgets that lives there. It talks about the weather that's there. It talks about how shitty it is on the outside and how nice it is on the inside, and basically how the water runs in and out. It talks about the 19 islands right here. So all these things say the same thing. Urbano Monte's map either removes it or they overlay this big fucking star right here at the top and just mess it all up. You know what I'm saying? Why they did that, I have my own suspicions, but okay, I'm going to go back to the lady real quick. I'm going to go back. I promise. Don't hit me, please. But what I do remember, I'd say one of the more glaring parts of this map, Monty's map, was how many of the pages that had errors in them, or they had a lot of these holes and shit. Hold on. These are holes. One of 4 holes, right? Pages like that, or pages that had errors in them, or pages that had markups in them, were stamped. They had a seal in the back of them. You know what I'm saying? They had I'll show it to you here in a second if you didn't see it. They had a seal. I didn't know what the fuck it was, but they don't on the Rumsey maps. They don't show you none of that. They don't show you none of them seals. So it almost appears as if it's a seal of approval, right? Like they're like, all right, we made changes here, and then it's a seal from. It looks like it's a Medici family seal or something, or a Vaticanized seal. Okay, I don't want to just be passing blame on motherfuckers, but yeah, that's what it looks like. You know what? Let me give the torch to the lady. Let me let her talk. And for those of y'all that hadn't seen what it is I'm talking about, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring some of them pictures up that I took of the actual map, and y'all can see it. Oh, let me give it to this lady right here. I'm over here talking all this shit, man. Zoop, 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 zoop. There we go.
So the connection of the land made me wonder, well, how far does this go? And sure enough, there is a large component of land right between North America and Asia, and it is called Terra de Jesu.
Land of Jesus.
Jesu.
So
the land of Jesus.
Hold on. We're going to pause that real quick because we're going to visit Monty's map one more time. So, okay. Let me give that to y'all real quick. Hold on. Boom. Boom. Let's share Monty's map once more. And it doesn't say Yeso's land. It calls it Japone. Japone Isole. So that big ass piece of land that she's talking about is that right there. It's big, right? Compared to what they say Japan is. Compared to Japan looked like a little banana along the east side of Korea and China and Russia. That's what Japan looked like, a banana along the coast right there. But now we got this big ass piece of land. And what's funny is that this is something that we mentioned on the channel as well. Marco Polo travels back and forth during the 1500s, goes back and forth. He sends people to Japan from Italy. And the thing is back in the day, them dudes, it was like a dick measuring contest for them, right? They were like, yo, this land compared to Italy is this. That land compared to Italy is this. Back then, they said Japan compared to Italy is like, they said something along the lines, if I have to go back and I have to look, but something along the lines of Japan is 3 times as large as Italy, 3 times bigger than Italy. Back then, that's what he said. That's what Marco Polo said. Okay. This thing that we see, this big, massive piece of land right here. Right. And one of the closer bodies that we see, I'm not saying that it's the closest, but the one with a name is Nagasaki. We know Nagasaki. We know Nagasaki got bombed the hell out of, right? Or that's the story that they give us. Now we don't even know what to fucking believe these days. But this is that land that apparently this is the one that she's talking about. And it takes up a lot of space. And where we at? Look at this. It's right there it's right along the line of where Florida might be, because look at where it's at. This is their Tropic of Cancer right here. A little red lobster. But this is close to the Tropic of Cancer. So down here, obviously, it's significantly warmer than compared to up here, right? Wow. This stuff is amazing. Shout out to you, Godheart Guardian, for pointing that out. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And look at this. Corny. I think that says corny. Rangia. Porto de Peitori. Okay. Let's get back to the movie that we were watching, y'all. I apologize for that. Let's leave Monty's map alone. Hold on. Before I do that, I want to give you guys Monty's map one more time if you hadn't got it. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. That's Monty's map, y'all. So you guys could, anytime I jump in, if you want, you could feel free. You guys could go ahead. You could jump in with me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let us leave that alone. We'll get back to the ladies' video. Sorry about that, y'all. This lady's cooking though. I love her shit so far. And Pebbles, shout out to you. And God Heart Guardian again. Shout out to you too. I appreciate you guys putting that out. But look at the date, y'all. Look at the date. 1757. I'm gonna show y'all something again. Y'all probably didn't see, but look at that. 1757. I told y'all 1700s, they were fucking with these things big time, it looks like. But let's continue.
And that one was from 1757. So I decided to go back to older maps. And sure enough, as I looked at them, the Terra de Yeso was very close to China. You can even see the wall of China going there. And you can see Tartary and Cathay. So the Terra de Yeso was very, very close to Asia. And I'll show you here again. Terra de Yeso is the land of Jesus.
Wow.
And this map here, 1702, really, really demonstrates what I'm talking about. You have a strait on this side and a strait on this side. This side here is North America, and it used to, even on the Mercator map, all the way up to the top, it's called California.
Mm-hmm.
And this land in the middle is called Terra de Yeso. And this here is called the Mer de Yeso, the Sea of Jesus.
Yep, Jesus Sea.
So we have one strait on that side, and we have one strait on that side. Strait is the gate, and they have deleted what was in the middle by removing the time zones. So this depiction shows that there is no known existence of anything in that region. If you are a person on the east coast of Asia and you look across and you see land, you will think you're seeing Alaska. If you are a person in Alaska looking across and you see land, you will think you're seeing Russia. They have deleted this from anyone's knowledge below a certain, I guess, security pass. So one of the other things that they did is I noticed on the old maps, everything counts upward all the way around. So you'd have 180, 185, and they go up by fives. However, in the new version of the spherical Earth, they actually remove that and they stop everything at 180, and then they count backwards to the opposite meridian, which is in Greenwich.
Now remember, y'all.
So therefore, they've completely canceled out any problem of people wondering what happened to these longitudes.
Wow. That's actually a really good point. Really good point. Now, if you look again, we spoke about the Aleutians right there. Then it cuts over to what the Russians got. I forget the name. Jesus, I think that's the Wrangel Islands, or not the Wrangel Islands. These are our Aleutians. I forgot what the Russian version's called. And you've got the Kuril Islands right there. But look at this look at this. You see how it just turns in? You see this right here? Y'all see this right here? Y'all see this? This is where Japan would have been. And look at how many meridians there are. 1, 2, 3. Japan would, or that Isola de Giappone would have been right here, according to Monty's map. And then you got this little island right there. That looks like that could have been the Nagasaki right here. I don't know, man. Listen, I'm just spitballing. I could be wrong, totally wrong. I could be totally wrong, right? I could be totally wrong. I don't know. But right here, That's it. This got that circular thing to it. It just does. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I've been wrong a lot of times, man. So I don't know, man. Let me let her cook though.
I found this map as well. So this is called the Sea of Kamchatka. And yes, again, I noticed down here, we have the Terra de Yeso. And they never finished, drawing where the land is, but it's showing there. So Terra de Yeso, land of Jesus. And when I went up here to see what was on here, I noticed this. It says Camp de Jesu with a G.
Jesse.
And when I type that in to the Latin translator, it says Camp of Jesus. Is that Camp of Jesus?
Camp de Jesus. Camp of Jesus. Jesu. Wow.
Another map here shows that the international date line goes down the middle here, and they're calling this now the Strait of Anian. On the other map, it was over here.
Wow.
So they're confusing where is the Strait of Anian. Well, we see a strait there, and we see a strait here, but we still have this problematic land in between.
Huh.
And something that I just found interesting was the red and white line that they've used to start canceling the time, start removing and deleting the time, because we know that barbers cut off excess. And we know that the North Pole has been attributed to Tricky Nick.
Holy shit. Wow. I never thought about that. Did y'all hear what she just said? Never in a million years. Did y'all just hear what she said? Let me rewind that shit. God damn. That's powerful. I never thought about that. Never in a million years thought about that.
Here, but we still have this problematic land in between.
Wow.
And something that I just found interesting was the red and white line that they've used to start canceling the time, start removing and deleting the time, because we know that barbers cut off excess.
Wow.
And we know that the North Pole has been attributed to Tricky Nick.
Wow. Huh. Wow. Just wow. Get that.
Right? Satan claws. And you can also have candy canes with the same colors on them. It's a trick they play. And they get everyone to participate because that's how we consent to that tricky story being played on us. So this one is from 1683. This map here from 1666 actually shows
what a significant year, because that's the same year Isaac Newton did his thing. That's the same year as 1666. I think that was the same year as the Great Fire of London, right? 1666. Now look at this map, this spherical map, this hemispherical map. Wild.
Even better, I would say, depiction of the North. So the Greenland being attached all the way across to this area here, which also says Terra de Yesu. Wow. And it actually shows 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines across. So the Strait of Anian is showing there, and then the other strait showing on the other side, and that looks like a large peninsula down there. So it would make sense why they cannot traverse the north. If this is land all the way at the top, this would make sense why they cannot traverse the north. So here is another depiction again, and this one is kind of done from overview of all the lands. And it's very clear here in orange that Greenland is connected all the way across the north to, and it says land of Arcti, and down here, Terra de Jesu, the Mer de Jesu, that's the Sea of Jesus.
Wow.
And I think, you know, this going through here is a kind of Arctic passageway. Septentrional.
So that's northern like. So, okay, man, she's cooking, man. She is cooking right now. So I wanted to show you guys something. Maybe you guys have, maybe you guys have not seen. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this link for y'all right here. Okay. This is from a map from 1599 and a like. Bang, right there. You guys go ahead and chew on that real quick. And I'm going to present. Stop that. I'm going to present, share that. It's called islandscorts.is.Iceland, right? This is an Icelandic site. And it basically, that site that I sent y'all, this is from like 1590 on up. Okay. And we're looking at these maps right here that I'm sharing with y'all. I don't know if you got, yeah, you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. So that's Iceland, that right there. And let's go back. Let's go back. Yeah. And then as you go down, they'll show you, okay, these are all Iceland. All of these are Iceland. Now we're starting to go into the north, not just Iceland. So that's a 1595 from Mercator. Everybody's familiar with this one, right? And then we have different ones from Mercator. So some where they have all four heads that are totally perfect, right? This one is not. If you look, you can see right there in the middle. Hopefully you guys can see it, and I'm not on there. Yeah, you see at the bottom right, that head in the bottom right. Okay, this one right here, it's not perfect. And then we have like, I think this is like Nova Zemlya or some shit like that. Or what's it? Newland, Nova Zemlya. So it's the same thing, same word, right? New land in Russian, Nova Zemlya. But Newland in, I guess, Icelandic or German. This is all in, I think it's Icelandic. I don't know. But this is Mercator's map, if I'm not mistaken, they said again. But then if we look at this one right here, then now that's a perfect map. These, I think all of these are from 1595. And then just like she called it, it's the Northern Land Description of the Northern Land. Septentrionalium Terrarum. Northern Land. Northern Terrarium. And then again, if we look at these right here, all of them say the same exact thing. Every single one of them. Not one of them are different. They say the same thing. Midgets, freaking, you know, land, all that other stuff. All these different things. 33 miles wide, right? Get out of here. Right? Talks about these joints right here, how the water moves and everything. The rock in the middle, all that. But then this is what she was talking about. She was talking about this. Greatest latitude is 75. Well, that's not 75, I guess. Yeah. Okay, 75 latitude, not longitude. Excuse me. So I guess this would be What is this? Would this be considered a 0? Would this be the 0 point and then it starts? Because there's no straight over here. There's a straight right here. And then this is what I don't see in none of her maps, which we know that this is something that they show on a lot of these maps that are incomplete, or that are complete, excuse me. Polis magnetis, reflectus, blah, 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 blah. We know this one, right? For sure, we know that. Polis Arctis, right? We know that. And this is the complete map. And then from the 1500s on into the 1600s, these lands, these bodies just seem to fade away a little bit. And then it's as if they don't know what to give us, or it's as if something happened and they're just rediscovering shit. You understand? But it's almost as if they don't know what to give us or how to give it to us. Okay, I'm going to give this to y'all. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to drop that in here, y'all. Boom. There it is right there. So you guys could have those northern lands, those northern regions. There it is. And I'm going to go back and then I'm going to show you guys a little bit more. All right, that one's 1595. And then we progressed, and then of course this is Iceland. So this is an Iceland centric page. Okay, and even though I don't know what the hell it is they're saying, I'm sure there's like a translate button. I just haven't hit it. This is a 1628 map, but look at the difference. You see, look at that. I don't know what the fuck going on. So this is a French version of this map, of those maps, and they've removed a lot of stuff. I mean, the orientation's a little bit different. Excuse me, the orientation's a little bit different. I could fix that though. And there goes Greenland, Groenland right here, and then Zemlya Nova is like around here. And look at this, empty, totally empty. But look at where the pole, or yeah, look at where the line is. Boom, goes straight through this joint right here. Go straight through here. Go straight through the Aenean fret, the Aenean fretum, right? So the Aenean Strait. RD Los Estreco. Okay, I know this looks like it's a mix of Spanish and French, or maybe it's all Spanish. Hold on, Carly Giorla. Okay, Goo. All right, Tartaricus, Oceano, Tartaria. Okay, Tartarus. Okay, all that. Okay, let's see some of this. Gants Bay. Okay, this is coming into the Englishy stuff. All the English shit coming in here, in and around down there. And all this is the Greenland stuff, St. Thomas, Alba. Okay, but I find that funny, man. It's a good thing that she said what she said, because this stick ain't pointed this way no more. It's not pointed there. And we just oriented the map to look like the one that we were looking at previously, right? Because Greenland was at the bottom on Mercator's joint, but the mean line was pointed, I guess you could say, towards the west. We'll just say it was pointed towards the west. It was pointed towards, right, America. And this is America still. America Pars, American land. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it was pointed west. It was oriented west. But we were oriented right because Greenland was at the bottom. Anyway, let's look at this one right here. And look, 1600s. Look at all the shit they remove. Let's orient this thing. Okay. Look at that. Okay, hold on. Okay, now, okay, Greenland again on the bottom. Right there at the top. Yeah. Yep, there it is. So you guys know how to get to it. Let me get out of that. And let me give this lady an opportunity to go ahead and cook, man. It's the fifth world, so not our first rodeo. Hey, Marcy Chan, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, sis. Welcome. I'm going to get out of that. I'm going to jump out of that so I could let this lady do her thing, man, because she's got some really good shit. Okay. You get out of that. Let me get into that. Boom. My bad, y'all. Boom. Boom.
And yeah, so it's all connected at the north. And this is very interesting when we start talking about Gog and Magog, because they are going to come up out of the four quarters of the earth, and they are going to march across the plateau or the great plain of the earth, the broad plain, and they are going to surround the camp of the saints and the beloved city. So why does anyone think that they would have hidden this land? And why, if it's connected to Greenland, are the military so interested in Greenland, protecting, as they say, Greenland, owning Greenland? Why in the World War II were the Axis so interested in the Thule Society or the Thule Society?
If you guys don't know, that was the name of our base at one time. Thule. 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 We named it that. Thule Air Force Base, I think it is. Thule Base, right there in Greenland. It's now Pickett, Piffitic, some shit like that. That's what it is now.
There's an actual German government center in Greenland. And there's evidence to say that I think the Gog and Magog forces are actually gathering on the other side of the north, and they are going to
China and Russia.
I guess culminate their attack. They're going to gather their attack from this area here, and they will come towards the camp of the saints in the beloved city. And what's interesting as well is that in Psalms, it talks about and this is the name of my playlist, actually, the sides of the north. So the sides of the north is where the city of the great king is.
Check this out, y'all. Y'all know what I'm about to do. I gotta show y'all that Monty map real quick. Let me show you. So she's not off the mark, really. She's actually right on. She's hovering very close to the target. And let me show you what she's talking about. I'm excited, y'all. Godheart Guardian, shout out to Godheart Guardian, man. Thanks for showing me this. And Pebbles, also you too, sis. Thank you for showing me that. Sean Alke's in the house. Welcome, Sean Alke. Welcome, welcome. Let me present. Of course, you know I got to give y'all Monty's map, right? Where it's at. Look at this. Bang. Right there. Okay. So here's Greenland right here, right? This is Greenland. Let me go ahead and orient that for y'all so y'all could see it. There goes Greenland, right? There goes Greenland. And it's long as fuck. It's mad long, yo. It's big than a mug. And this is how it's oriented on Monty's map. Monty's map is so, I don't know, man. That thing is so damn detailed. It's so well. And again, like my appreciation of Monty's map is that you could tell that this dude, he did this thing by hand. He made this thing by hand. He made this joker by hand. And man, just the craftsmanship behind it. But okay, let me leave it alone. Let me leave it alone. But if we go from where Greenland is at, right? And then let's pull it roughly on the total opposite end of things. Now, where the US wants to go, it looks like from here, right? From and around like here, we're coming up and we're like right here. And I think the claim is that the North Pole, the North Magnetic Pole is like moving to around here or so. It's like around here or something. There, that's the claim. Well, since based off of how Greenland is oriented, it's like in the water, not over land, right? The pole is. But look at this. Let me show y'all. Look at this here. So we're right now in the Strait Amagog, Chukchi. This is now called Chukchi. This area is the Chukchi region. And that's the Chukchi Sea. But Amagog. Pretty much of what she's talking about. And of course, you got fucking unicorns over here. You got big tittied animal, lady animal thing, creatures. I don't even know. But yeah, there it is. Whoop, there it is. But let me let her cook. Let me let her cook. I'm gonna jump off. Let me let her finish. We're gonna let her finish, man.
Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. So a lady that I talked to sent me this very, very interesting piece of connection information. And I just want to read it to you. So when we're talking about Anyan and Kivira as being noted on the maps in that kind of most western location of North America, it says here, the Strait of Anyan is 15 leagues and can easily be freed in a tide of 6 hours, and those tides are very rapid. He commented in 1588 letter to Philip II of Spain. Several decades later, Ben Israel commented that among the miracles the blessed be he did with the 10 tribes, he also created this strait known as the Strait of Anyan, so they can remain separated and hidden from the nations. And I will ask my friend if she can give me the link to that. I have a number of Anyan, so they can remain 15 leagues and can easily be freed in a tide of 6 hours, and those tides are very rapid. He commented in 1588 letter to Philip II of Spain.
1527, 1588. Wow. Hold on now. Let's see. I think Philip of Spain is actually has his picture. Philip of Spain. Let's see. Yup. Holy shit. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Oh, of course. Now, guys, please forgive me. You know what I got to do, right? I got to show y'all this on the map. You know I'm about to show y'all on the map. I got to. Boom. Check it out. So this is Monty's map. It said 1588. This map is from 87. Ray Filippo Max. King Philip. Damn, the brother was 61, man. He didn't last too long. Echo Ray. Soprano. Que come Merti. Stoto. Del Mar. Imperiano. Queste. There he is. That's him. Right there. That's the king. And he's holding a basketball that says Perv on it. So I wonder, because it says Perv, which is really Peru. I wonder if this means the South. And he's also king of the North as well, the North regions. But here's the thing, y'all. They erased some shit from here. I know they did. They removed some shit from here. They had to have. Perv, it's saying here, and then some shit right here. They must have removed something from here, man. They removed so much things from these damn maps, man. It's fucking, it's enough to make you cry. Let's get back to it. My bad, y'all. My bad. I apologize, man. Let's get back to it. My bad, y'all.
Several decades later, Ben Israel commented that among the miracles the blessed be he did with the 10 tribes, he also created this strait known as the Strait of Anyan, so they can remain separated and hidden from the nations.
JJ, peace, bro.
And I will ask my friend if she can give me the link to that. I have a number of documents that talk about the Strait of Anyan, but I would like to find that actual document. Something else I noticed is the 60th parallel is very important because it demarks the Arctic Circle, shall we say. And what's really interesting is that in darts, and I think this goes for a lot of sports, the highest score is actually right there. It's 60, and it's at the double treble. I think it's 20 treble or something like that. So that position right there in relation to, let's say, the center is, I would just say it's interesting.
Wow.
That is the highest mark if you get your dart there. So something else I wanted to talk about was I've been covering the coastal cataclysms in my series as well. So I have a series called Coastal Cataclysms. And one thing I suspect actually did happen at the end of the millennial reign was there was cataclysm. And I think that was like related to the loosing of Satan, but also a covering, maybe a veil of some kind going over the camp of the saints, over the beloved city. And what I would say is that, let's look at this map a little bit. So this map here is the post-war New World map, and this is from 1942, I think. And all the blue is kind of the regions that are protected or militarily assigned to the United States. And you'll see here that Greenland and Canada are there in blue. Okay, so this is called, all across it, the United States of America. And they talk about USA peace and security outposts. So all of these islands sort of around the Atlantic Ocean.
Azores
and then
shit.
even much more as you go into the Pacific Ocean, there's a lot of, let's say protectorate
atolls
going on. And then all the way down to South America. And if we look over here, the extension of the United States military peace and security goes all the way over to Japan and even the Philippines and even a little island over here, right by China.
Hainan. That's Hainan Island. We crashed a plane there, actually. Let's continue. Yep. April 1st, 2001, we crashed our plane there. Fun times, huh?
And something that I noticed as well was that Japan was completely quarantined after the war. And if you look at the history of Japan and the, I would say, Christian influence that was taking place there, my friend Jana revealed to me that she found out that the Japanese had expelled the Jesuits from Japan. And they even had a no entry law or policy. You couldn't go into Japan. So this quarantine indicates to me that something very, very important happened there or was known there. Not to mention that we know that as a part of the World War II events, we know that there was a severe attack on Japan specifically. And of course, they had to give us a narrative that made Japan look like they deserved it, right? So, so we can see around all through the Bering Sea area, there's this region that is militarily assigned to the United States. Now, that's not the only thing I went to see here, because when I started reading the bottom of here, I'm not going to read it all. I can link to this map, but I wanted to just read something from this number 2 section here underneath where it says our policy shall be this. And this is an absolutely fascinating read. They even call it a new world moral order for permanent peace and freedom. Well, we know that the freedom cult, liberty cult, believes that Lucifer gave them true liberty, and that is to do what thou wilt.
Oh.
So when you read it through the lens of liberty cult, we're kind of writing their policies under the world. I'm reading number 2 here.
Ooh.
The old world order of colonial oppression, exploitation of dominions, rival imperialisms, and mercenary balance of power diplomacy, of majesties, dictators, privileged minorities, plutocratic monopolists, and similar social parasites. The corrupted order responsible for the present world cataclysm, that's the key word I'm going to look for here, endangered our national safety and peaceful progress, and shall never rise again. And they refer to cataclysm.
The bomb didn't even drop yet, or the quote unquote bomb. I know many of us don't believe in the nuclear bomb, but it didn't even drop yet if this is from 42, right? Yeah, let's continue.
In other parts of this as well. So it is my belief that at the end of the millennial reign, there was a cataclysm. And I think it was, as all things are, I think there, God allowed something to happen that would protect, the people of God that were living in the holy city and in the land and the camp of the saints. So I think that's why the cataclysm happened. And I've covered this extensively in my Coastal Cataclysm series. So please go check that out. There's a lot of evidence here on the West Coast, which is the Pacific West Coast, to show that there has been damage. And one thing I would say is that on older maps, and this is personal, but these islands did not exist on the older maps. And I think part of the cataclysm really was to do with like the breaking of land off and the change of the coastline there. And there's also submerged mountains and things like that under the water there. And there's, I've done a lot of looking into major geological events across, that Pacific region. And there's a lot. So I can probably cover that in another video, but I wanted to get this one kind of covered first.
God. Yeah, ladies, that's the question that I was wondering. I don't mean to interrupt again, y'all, but I was wondering if she's a flat earther. It appears that she is, but then again, you never know, man. With this crazy things that these people are finding these days, you never know. But with how she's speaking and the stuff that she's dug up so far, I would imagine to me she sounds like she's a flat earther. So, but yeah, let's continue. This motherfucker look fake as hell, but whatever.
Just some evidence that we have here on the West Coast. There's 2 in this picture, actually. So a lot of trees with the roots fully intact, driftwood all over, not logging driftwood. You don't log with the full roots attached.
Damn.
So these huge trees, and they're all over the beaches.
What?
They have full root systems, like there's no way that could be there's no way that could be actual logging wood. And then you often get these what look like broken up islands off the other islands and off the West Coast. They're literally chopped off. There's trees growing on them, but there's broken. They look broken off of another piece of land.
I could tell you that out there in Whidbey Island, Washington, we've got an ass ton of driftwood. We've got a lot of driftwood. When I was stationed on Whidbey, there was so much driftwood. And another thing is that I thought it would have been a good idea to burn it, but because it had so much salt in it that if you burned it, it's like poisonous. So yeah, like we have that on the west coast of the United States in Washington, in and around the San Juan Islands, Whidbey being part of that archipelago. Yeah, we've got a lot of that driftwood, but these trees, these big mammoth things like that, I ain't never seen nothing like that ever in my life.
Something else that has been going on over the years is the DEW radar, the direct early warning,
direct
I think it
energy
is
weapon.
called, and that's basically like a fence that goes all the way across North America, Alaska, all the way through Canada to the other side of Canada. Labrador, I think, is where it ends. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But something that I have talked about previously and something that I was getting into a little bit more in the Surrounding of the Camp series is that we know that these are all connected. We know that the Camp of the Saints, Gog Magog, warfare, and the enemies of God are all connected. I would say Arctic warfare is on the rise. There's a lot of evidence coming out to show that this is being funded and promoted regularly and with an increasing urgency. If you listen to the Donald Trump and the leaders of the world are constantly focusing on the Arctic. Along with those military strategies, you hear of things like AI, Space Force, SpaceX, and we know that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are actually working together very, very closely. One of them has a US Space Force, the other one has SpaceX. And I would say that what's running them all is the Gog Magog agenda. So we have the Order Ab Chao, which is order out of chaos, but actually I would call them the Orders of Chaos. That is actually the name of the 5th video in my Sides of the North series, which covers this a little bit. And, you know, they play a duality game. So they do one thing over here to get you to look over there, but while you're looking over there, they're doing something over here. So there's lots of levels of duality within the progress, you know, within that program of the Gog Magog deception and what they're actually planning to do. These are what I would call the orders of.
There it is. Y'all see that right there? Take a look at this. You see what I'm circling right there, that Knights Templar joint? Let me see. Okay. Y'all see that Knights Templar joint right there? I'm going to let her go ahead. Swallow, what's good, man? It's good to see Swallow. It's in the house. Who else didn't I say hi to? I'm going to let her do her thing. But take a look at that red iron cross there at the top. Up there. Okay.
Chaos, or at least some of them. And, you know, you might be familiar with things like the Knights Templar or the Most Noble Order of the Garter. And we have other ones called the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George. Or we have the Ordo Templi Orientis. All of these are actually indicative of what I would call the orders of Gog and Magog. These are the orders that have been drawing people into the network that is in many layers, I would say, deceiving the world, turning people from the truth, turning people from knowledge of Jesus Christ and the kingdom that he brought and established on earth. And they have turned it into their own kingdom, and they serve their own master, Satan. And this all rose from the cult, the Pythagorean cult that worshiped the celestials. This would be, you know, hailing back to the Babel and the.
Hey, y'all, real quick before we continue there, I wanted to show y'all Tiffany Vinci. Hey, look, Hangman 1128. Yep, I've been looking at his stuff. Yep. Tiffany Vinci, how you doing, sister? Out of the Rumble side. Welcome. Good to see you. Y'all, I wanted to show y'all this. Let me show y'all. Share. Boom. Hold on. Okay. There it is. Boom. Check it out. I don't know if y'all could see it, but if you zoom right here, that's that iron cross right there. That's one of them. No. Let's see it. That's the seal, right? On some of these pages, behind a lot of pages where there were corrections, that's the seal. That's the Iron Cross that I was telling you about, right? That's that Knights Templar. That's what it is. Knights Templar. I called it Medici. Knights Templar cross right here. That's it. That's it again. That's another one. Yeah. Weird. Very weird. Very strange. Looking at that there. Very strange looking at that there. And I'll tell you what, man, I was real fortunate going out there to go look at that map. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to go back there again and scope on it again, man. And I highly recommend you guys too. Y'all go ahead, man, check that thing out. Cause here's my thing. I could guarantee that I bet my bottom dollar that you guys would find, if you go and you look for yourselves, you would find something in that map that I couldn't, that would have just gone right over my head, right? Or maybe I didn't notice. So this is why it's important, I think, for us to, us all to get our hands on it, right? It's just not me, right? Like, fortunately enough, again, that I was able to go out there, take a look at these things, and just notice some inconsistencies compared to what Rumsey has on his website. And I'm like, Rumsey doesn't show none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I wonder why. But whatever, that's left to speculation. Even still, it's it's here in America, right? Stanford University. It's free, right? And you guys could visit these things as well. Like, don't just leave it to one of us to figure it out. If you're in the area and you ain't got nothing else to do, hit up Stanford University. They'll be more than happy. I'm sure they will, right? They'll probably ask you a bunch of questions because they asked me a bunch of questions. And then yeah, you could get your hands on it. They'll give you access to that section of the library by yourself, and you'll be able to see it as well, right? And it'll be a knockout experience. And again, take a look at it. Don't listen to anything I say. You guys go check it out and see it for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I plan on going back there and checking it out. But also with in regards to Monty's map, I don't think I think that there's more out there to be viewed, right? Other ones, maybe not as big and spectacular as Monty's map, but still some spectacular maps that if you see them in person, you're given a different perspective. Because looking at these things online, yeah, they look good, but you just never know. You never know. Anyway, man, let me stop flapping my gums, dog. Let me give this lady the floor because she's out here cooking, bro. Real talk, she is doing her thing, and I love it.
The Babylonians and the mystery religions that included the Egyptians, and they really worshipped these false gods or fallen ones that rebelled against the Most High. And they were given, for a time, they were given the power in this world. But Jesus came to unseat them and to strip them of that authority, to strip them of their right to do these things. And when Satan was bound in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years, the kingdom of Jesus Christ was established on earth. And, there was no doubt about who was in charge, and there was no room for any of this cult worship. So I want to go over now and just look at some documents here. So this one is actually called The Maps of Gulliver's Travels. And here on page 12, I found a reference to Yeso. Our geographers of Europe are in great error by supposing nothing but sea between Japan and California. For it was ever my opinion that there must be a balance of earth to counterpose the great continent of Tartary.
Whoa. Whoa. You know what? I've got Gulliver's Travel right here, and I haven't read it. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to read it. Says the coast of Yeso, as it appeared in these maps, probably gave Swift a hint for his location of Brobdingnag. Discuss the size of this land. Gulliver concludes that our geographers of Europe are in great error by supposing nothing but sea between Japan and California. Wow. Wow. So he knew. For it was ever my opinion that there must be a balance of earth to counterpoise the great continent of Tartary. So that's Asia. The great okay. So you want okay. This is what it sounds like to me, y'all. This is what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong though. So why they divide the United States where we are, what they consider the West, why they divide the West and what they call all them Eurasia, Asia, Russia, China, and all them the East, I have no idea. But he's saying, Swift is saying in that book, in that story, that that big piece of land serves as like a balance, like a bridge of sorts. You understand what I'm saying? Isn't that crazy? And then when you look at Monty's map, like we see it's big, it's huge. It looks like it's a bridge with the exception that there's water between, Japan or what looks like the island of Japan and Naga to California, and then that same thing over to Kamchatka towards Russia and all them. Holy shit. Wow. Wow. Just wow. All right. Okay. My bad, yo. Let's get back. Let's let this woman cook, man, because she's doing an amazing job. I like this so far.
After his involuntary departure from the south coast of Brobdingnag, Gulliver is picked up in the vicinity of 44 degrees north of the longitude 143.
Okay. So do you guys want us to go there before she does or what? You want us to go there, 44, 143? Or do you want her to do it? Because I don't want her, I don't want to. Yeah, it means snake. That's right. Or serpent. 44 north, 143 east, west. Brobingnag. 44 north, 143 east or west. I don't know which one. We could go there. Let's check it out. Let's check it out, shall we? I hate to steal her thunder, but I gotta steal her thunder. Let's steal her thunder real quick. Let's steal her thunder. 44 north. So 44 north. .44 north. Okay, right here. 44 north and good grief. Let's see. Where's 140 something south? Trying to see where we're at. Okay. So if we're going to use this as 180. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Please, Lord, please. Oh, Jesus, help me. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, please. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Why? Oh, God, why are you giving me such a hard fucking time? Oh. All right, you know what? No. Christ in heaven. Okay. Let's get off this. Let me let her do the hold the space bar. God, I don't know why this thing is giving me such a headache. Help me, Lord, please. Thank you. Jesus. Sheesh. So 44 north. It's like around, that's 60. Okay. 45, 44. Okay. So this is like the freaking Caspian around here, the Caspian Sea. Okay. 44, 143. 143 what? 143 what? Where are we going? East, west, 143 what? So right here in the Caspian Sea and around Iran. This thing's not even, let's see. No. Let's see. Greenwich Mean Time. So this is like 0. All right, we'll let her cook. This thing is making my blood just burn right now. We'll let her cook. We will let her cook. Cause let me stop screen. I'll let her cook. Yeah, my blood is starting to boil a little bit. I'm sorry. Billy Labadie. Mr. Labadie.
And I think this is significant because you'll notice when you start looking for this information, it is just full of hit pieces. Things are relegated to myth. There's a lot of washing away of truth and replacing with the new information, this kind of versioning out of knowledge that was there before, and they have to start trying to account for it as they provide the new, more updated information that will match the maps that they have now given you. And here in this document, it really just talks about, the spelling of the name Jesus, which we've seen all through this study. And so just to point out here that the name Jesus is actually quoted throughout history and, appears in the original texts of the New Testament. And so they're just talking about it here, but this is mostly a hit piece, I would say. And then the spelling of Jesus in Latin from the New Testament. So that was just another document that I found. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to read something from 2nd Esdras 13, because I think this describes the age that we're living in right now, sort of the end of this and what it might involve. So let me read this. 2nd Esdras chapter 13. After 7 days, I had a dream during the night. I looked and saw a wind rising from the sea and stirring up all its waves. As I watched, this wind made something like the figure of a man come up out of the heart of the sea. That man was flying among the clouds of heaven. Wherever he turned his face to look, everything that fell under his gaze trembled. Whatever an utterance came from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted, as wax melts when it feels the fire. I won't read all of this, but I encourage you to go read 2nd Esdras 13. I'll read a little bit more. Verse 12, after these things, I saw the same man coming down from the mountain and calling to himself another crowd, a peaceful one. Many people came to him. Some were rejoicing and some were sad. Some were even tied up, while some were bringing other people as offering. And so he asks the Lord what it means, and he answered me, I will tell you the interpretation of the dream as well, and I will explain to you the things you spoke about. As to what you said about those who are left, this is the interpretation. He who brings the danger at that time will himself guard those who fall into danger, who have works and faith in the Most Mighty One. Know therefore that those who are left enjoy greater privilege than those who have died. The interpretations of the vision are as follows. In that you saw a man going up from the heart of the sea. That is the one whom the Most High has been keeping for many ages. He will liberate God's creation all by himself, and he will put in order those who are left. And then look in verse 29, look, the days are coming when the Most High will begin to rescue those who are on the earth. Those who live on earth will go out of their minds. They will plan to wage war against each other, city against city, place against place, nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. When these things happen and the signs that I showed you before take place, then my Son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man rising up. When all the nations hear his voice, then each one will leave its own region, and will leave off the wars they were waging against one another. An innumerable mob will be gathered together, as you saw, wanting to come and fight against him. But he will take his stand on the summit of Mount Zion. Zion will come and will appear to all, built and ready, as you saw a mountain carved without hands. My Son himself will indict the assembled nations for their impious deeds. These things were indicated by the storm. He will scold them for their evil plans and reveal the torments with which they are about to be tortured. These things correspond to the flame. He will destroy them without effort by the law, which is indicated by the fire. And it goes on, but I'm going to go down to verse 49. Then when he begins to destroy the multitude of the nations that are gathered, he will protect the people who have survived. Then he will show them many more signs. I said, Supreme Lord, show me why I saw a man rising up from the heart of the sea. He said to me, just as no one can seek out or know what is in the depth of the sea, so no one on earth can see my Son or those who are with him, except in that time when his day has come. This is the interpretation of the dream that you saw, which has enlightened you alone of all people. You have abandoned your own affairs and occupied yourself with mine, and you have sought my law. You have given your life to wisdom and have called understanding your mother. Because of this, I have shown you these things, for you have reward with the Most High. After 3 days, I will tell you more and explain to you weighty and wonderful things. So that's 2 Ezra 13. And I would say that could be describing the end of this little season and the end of Gog and Magog. So I'm going to go now and just show you what's going on in the region of Alaska on the, obviously, east side of the Bering Sea. And I bet you didn't know that there is actually a NASA spaceport in Alaska right next to the Bering Sea. And it's called Kodiak Island. And so it says here that Kodiak Island provides responsive, flexible, and low-cost access to space for small and light lift rockets and stratospheric balloons. It has been launching rockets since 1998 and was the first FAA licensed spaceport not to co-locate on a federal range. And here is the location, and they have these launching pads on this island. So downrange launching pads, this is where the excitement happens. 6 launch pads support solid, liquid, and hybrid suborbital light lift and small lift launch vehicles. And instrumentation field. There's just a lot going on here. Here you have launch pads 1 and 2. So 174-foot tall launch tower of LP1 in the nearby facility support all indoor climate controlled launch vehicle integration.
Launchpad McQuack.
And they use, naming conventions, Minotaur, Athena. So these are very much occultists. And just to show you where that is, Kodiak Island. So the Bering Sea, it is my suspicion that this range of islands that circle here look very much to me like what we saw on the map where I showed the land of Yesu. That could be kind of the lowest point of that land. However, if you go and look, people do fly to these islands and they have aerial footage of it. But I don't see a lot of footage from the inside of this area. So I think it's possible that if there was a cataclysm and there's a veil over it, It's possible that it's just not visible right now
Mm.
yet. So let's take the grid lines off there. And yeah, so that is Kodiak Island right there. And it is within firing distance for their rockets in the region of the Bering Sea. I always wondered why it was positioned there, because I thought, well, if the north is where everything's happening, how does that help if it's way down there? Because that's a very big distance from there to the actual north of Alaska.
Check Diomede. Lesser
However, if we have missing land in the middle here because they've just deleted it off of the spherical Earth model that they use, then it makes sense that it's actually very close to that region. So the spelling of Jesus, I think I've actually gone through this already. Yeah. So speaking of the Anyan, so the name Anyan, these are mostly hit pieces, as I say. This one calls it a myth. Even though I believe on the oldest maps, it shows it as a literal real place. And it talks about it, as I read before, as a area that was going to keep the tribes hidden and living in peace. So at this point, the Northwest Passage was simply an idea. This is how they talk about it. And the name Anyan was associated with the western terminus of the passage or the lands adjacent to it, wherever or whatever they were. So you can see how they start kind of creating a myth here, just in the minds of people reading. And so the existence of Anyan was important chiefly to those who, at least in their imagination, traveled west from Europe to the Americas and beyond. So they start really, kind of mocking it in a way. But it says here that the Northwest Passage, and hence the reality of Anyan, had already been offered, and he proceeded to demonstrate by authority, by reason, by experience, and by circumstances, one chapter on each type of demonstration, that Anyan was, at the very least, highly probable. So the land of Anyan. And here it says the map provides considerable detail and irregular coastline, rivers, mountains, towns. It would have seemed foolish to the 16th century, in the 16th century, not to accept the map as accurate. And Anyan stands out vivid and convincing. And then it calls it the northernmost location on the Pacific coast of North America, which we can see clearly it wasn't. And then Ortelius, in his world map of 1590, as cited earlier, shows Anyan as a northern kingdom and Quivira as southern kingdom on a westward bulge on North America that extends 30 degrees north and south. Again, they start by 1915, they start talking about the mythical Straits of Anyan. Why the need to do that if something just literally exists or doesn't? You don't need to make a myth of things. But these are just largely for that reason. And some of the questions I had, so that I looked into these a little bit, was, can you physically see Russia from Alaska? Well, interestingly, the two countries don't always see eye to eye, despite their proximity, much like neighbors in a subdivision. And then there is a video on this page here, which I've reviewed. It's fairly long, but I'll just give you a summary. So it's talking to the indigenous people that live there, who are really lovely. I think they're very nice people. They're not allowed to go past the Diomede Islands because the military are on the other side. So obviously the Russian military keep anybody from going past a certain point from Alaska. The fellow who's actually doing this little coverage of this area, he says, oh, I'm going to go film Russia on my phone. But as he's going up the hill, he says, actually, my battery's dying. And then he looks across and it's a kind of a misty day. So you can't really see over there anyway. And there's nothing conclusive about that video at all. It sort of creates more questions for me than it answered. And why can't you take a boat from Alaska to Russia? It's not safe. So rather than saying, oh no, you can't do that, it gives you lots of reasons why actually you wouldn't want to do that. And And here's another hit piece. So these are all intended to deter you from realizing that they're actually hiding something there. And so this person, Carl Bushby, walking around the world, so talks about this expedition that he's on. And then he says here, what makes this journey especially unique is Carl is not using boats or planes to get across the aquatic portions. Instead, he walks over the sea ice and the Bering Strait to reach Asia from North America. And he will also negotiate the gap across the English Channel by foot. Carl is not related to Jesus, which I just think is really interesting that they talk about the Bering Strait and then they kind of give a little nod and a wink to Jesus in that picture there. So when he tries eventually to go across the Bering Strait, look at what a mess he got in. It says here.
Oh my Lord.
Ooh.
So he and this other man together planned the formidable challenge of crossing the Bering Strait. Nobody in history had ever walked across the Bering Strait from Alaska to Siberia.
Oh God.
Even though in our minds, that's logically ridiculous.
Why would you want to do that?
So despite several attempts, and there is only one case of a journey in the reverse direction. Wow. So walking Alaska to Siberia and only one ever case of somebody walking the other direction. This is very odd considering people have swam across the English Channel. I mean, there's people that have, traversed Mount Everest, and yet this little tiny, supposedly tiny piece of area has not been traversed. I mean, give me a break.
Good point.
And there's only
very good point. Very good point. And every time we look at the maps, that strait looks small as hell. It looks mad small. Matter of fact, what's the one thing that we're always told about the Bering Strait? What's that one thing everybody's told about the Bering Strait? What's that one thing? Or like two things, maybe three things. The one thing, anybody, don't wait on me. Anybody. That one or two things, it's the Bering Strait, Maria. I mean, what's that one thing that they always say about the Bering Strait? All right. Well, a couple of things, right? They say that is the closest that we are to any other, obviously aside from Canada and Mexico, right? That's the closest that we are to another country, is us between Russia. That's one. Two, land bridge. That's what we've always been taught. Oh, the land bridge. Oh, and it's easy to get to Russia from the US if you go through the Bering Strait. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, looking at the map, it's right. And then shit just goes in between. But what if it's not that far? What if Diomedes is bigger than we expect? And according to that picture where it showed 7 o'clock and then 10 o'clock and that 3-hour division, why it's there, because they call it a globe, but you have that 3-hour division where everything just, I don't know why it resets, but the international date line, right? That looks like a huge swath of land. That not land, but it just looks like a huge opening. The opening looks mad big. It looks like there's just infinite amounts of water, and then you had lesser Diomede, you had greater Diomede. When we were watching the video earlier, you know what I'm saying? So it's more than, maybe it's a lot bigger than what they're telling us. Like, it's a no shit. It's a lot bigger than what they're telling us. Isn't that crazy? So it's not just wow. So that 3-hour gap is a legit 3 hours. That 3-hour gap is probably a legit 3 hours time zone. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to divide it like that, it's probably a legit 3 hours. And it's not that screwy shit. Nope. It's probably a legit 3 hours. I could see it. Wow. Wow. This is crazy. That's why he can't walk from fucking Alaska over the fucking Chukchi. That's what it's called, Chukchi. It's like the Chukchi region of Russia right there. That's the Chukchi thing. Lowry, if you want to post, you should go ahead and post that, homie. It's good to see. Shout out to Lowry. Welcome, bro. Welcome. Yeah, I can't for whatever reason. Paint won't. It's the Google pictures won't let me display it. I don't know why. It's pissing me off though. But yeah, if you want to show that, I wouldn't. I'd like for the foundry to see it. That would be awesome. But yeah, y'all, it's wild, man. It's crazy as shit. It's crazy as shit. So wow, the Aegean Strait or the Bering Strait, we might as well give it a fucking different name. So the Bering Strait could very well be a lot bigger than what we're told. Yep. Even at its narrowest, it's not that it can't be that close. It might not be that close, even at its narrowest. Lies, lies, lies. Lies, lies, lies. Okay, let us continue, shall we? Yes, we shall.
One case of a journey. So a Russian father and his son made it across to Alaska on the sea ice, a journey that almost took their lives. And as you go further down, it gives you even more reason not to try it. So here we go. It says the Russian authorities were not interested when they finally allegedly got there in their historic first, and instead were disgruntled that a couple of foreigners had strolled in from America. Carl and Dmitry were deported. Well, don't try that, okay? So just going back to Kodiak Island, Kodiak Spaceport relies on more than rocket launches to generate revenue. So you can see here, this is the kind of thing, this is a warhead, okay? This is not going to space. Let's be clear. In my view, these are actually warheads, and we've seen where Kodiak Island is. So I won't read all of this, but basically it just talks about what they do at Kodiak Island and what kind of rocket launches they do. Weird place to launch rockets. So going back to the distant early warning line, this was established as a response in the Cold War, allegedly. I always say allegedly because we don't know actually what we can trust from history, but what we know. And so it's the Mid-Canada line, which spanned the width of Canada at the 55th parallel and the U.S. Navy's Atlantic and Pacific barrier, as well as air and sea patrols and radar stations in Iceland, Great Britain, Faroe Islands, in the North Atlantic, and Greenland. So it really does surround that northern region. And here it actually says the first phase of the DEW line became operational on July 31st, 1957, and the line was expanded to encapsulate the Aleutian Islands and Greenland by 1961.
What a year.
Well, the Aleutian ended to encapsulate patrols and radar stations in Iceland, Great Britain, Faroe Islands, in the North Atlantic, and Greenland.
57, y'all.
So it really does surround that northern region.
I think that was a year before what's his name kicked the bucket, right? First phase of the DEW line became operational on July 31st, 1957. If I'm not mistaken, that's the year prior to what's his name? Old dude dying. The Atlantic Treaty, blah 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 blah. Never before. What's his name? Admiral old dude. What's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about. The admiral that did the North Pole and the southern circle. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm forgetting.
And here it actually says the first phase of the DEW line became operational on
Admiral
July
Byrd,
31st, 1957, and the line was expanded to encapsulate the Aleutian Islands and Greenland by 1961. Well, the Aleutian Islands are these ones down here. This line that goes all the way around, and this is called the Pacific Rim. So it goes all the way around the Bering Sea here.
Amazing movie, by the way.
And they tell us that the reason for it was effectively to deter Soviet aggression during the Cold War.
Yeah.
And then we have other organizations that I've talked about previously, like NORAD and all the...
And we still fly patrols there. We still, between us and the Russians, we still have patrols in that region. Like they're consistently flying overhead. in and around that region. Yeah. Wild.
The rest of that. And then you might think, well, can you actually, what is this picture that they say is Russia? The photo was featured in 2018 BBC article with the title American Lone Sailor Held in Far East Russia near Alaska. And an article from the Russian press with the credit sort of translates to this name, and it was captured by a Russian photographer. So they're saying basically it's a real picture, but it doesn't show Russian territory visible from Alaska. And I've read other accounts to say that because of the curvature of the Earth and all these other reasons why you can't see Russia from Alaska. Very odd.
Oh Lord. I think I'm gonna be sick. Let's continue. Lord have mercy.
Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about was the name Pacific. So the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So the word Pacific refers to people, actions, and ideas that are peaceful.
Easy.
Pacific actions promote and create peace. A pacifist is a person who opposes all wars, and that word can help you remember that Pacific things are also peaceful.
So why Maria no, when she was like, oh, because of the curvature of the Earth. Well, that's what she heard, and that's what we're being told, that we're being told some bullshit. Oh, because of the curvature, we can't see Russia from here. It's like, oh God, like stop. Like we were it's like, stop with the cap. Like anytime I hear that shit, it's like I really need that person to just stop and get help, because it's like please stop with the curvature of the Earth thing. It's so played out. It's so played out, and it's just a dirty thing to say. Like, just stop it. Stop it, get help, and we'll pray for you.
Specific things are done in a peaceful way or help the cause of peace. So who is our Prince of Peace?
Yes.
Jesus. And where does it show that the land of Jesus was? In the Pacific Ocean.
Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. What if now let's just entertain it. Let's just entertain it. And I could be totally wrong. But seeing that everything we were raised, and everything that we see, Jesus comes out of the east, right? Jesus comes out of the east. He comes out of there. He doesn't come out of, well, not the east. Yeah, the east. Yeah, he comes out the east. He comes out of there, like northern Africa, northeast, east Africa, which they call the Middle East, but what at one time they called Northeast Africa, right? If he comes out of there, what if it's backwards and he's actually on the Pacific side and not on the Mediterranean side? What if he was, and they just lied to us, and everything is just upside down like everything appears to be? What if they, I don't know. That's strange. That's strange. Yeah. What if, yeah, it just doesn't, the land of Jesus. It's strange. It's strange to me. It's strange to me. No, I don't know. I don't know. Just brainstorming. Let's go back to what we were watching, though. Just a brainstorm.
Okay. And we just found out that they approved a shipping route in the Bering Strait. So it says here, so these things have to be handled very meticulously because of what they're hiding there. So the International Maritime Organization, an arm of the United Nations, think about that. This is the Bering Strait. So this organization that is an arm of the United Nations accepted routes proposed by the United States and Russia. So now they're working together, United States and Russia.
Oh, boy.
For safe navigation in the waters between Alaska and Russia. The action designated routes for northbound and southbound traffic on both sides of the Russian Diomede Islands within the Bering Strait. A choke point is about 80 kilometers wide. They always change the distance of that as well. Like it's always something different.
80 kilometers. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The choke point, which is 80K wide, it doesn't look that big. What? Are you serious? Okay, so from Wales, okay, so ULN, so from Wales to ULN, that's 50, that's almost 60 miles. That's the claim. From Wales to ULN, which is point to point, from the US to Russia, from east to west, that's 60 miles, damn near. But on the Diomedes, hold on. Let's get that. Let's get the Diomedes. So from the Diomedes, from America Diomedes over to Russia Diomedes is 4.5 miles, roughly. 4.5 miles. Let's give it 3.5. Let's call it 4 miles, right? And then, okay, so that's the distance. It's like a 4-mile. It's supposed to be 4 miles. But then you have the Russia Diomedes. You've got the Russia Diomedes, right? The greater Diomedes on the Russian side. Hold on. Over to ULN, which is the closest point. And that's roughly 27 miles. 27 miles. Okay. So from the Russia Diomedes, right? And if you don't know, the Diomedes are those where the hell is the map? There it is. So I'll show y'all here in a second right now. Let me show y'all. If you don't know. So from Wales, right here, over to ULN, it's around like 58 miles, almost 60 miles. From here to here is like a 60-mile stretch. From here to here, Diomede small to Diomede big. From here to here is like 3.5 miles, right? And then they're saying from here to here is like 25 miles or so, some shit like that. 24 miles, 25 miles from here to here. So then from here to here, it's almost 30 miles from there to there. All right, let's continue. Let us continue. Oh, wait, did y'all not see that? Oh, shit, my bad, y'all. Man, I was getting a little bit overzealous. My bad, y'all. My bad, forgive me. Okay, so this is Wales right here on the America side, on the Alaska side, or probably, where are we at? Yeah, so this is Wales, and then this is ULN, Russia. So in and around here, Nuakan, right? 60 miles, 3.5 miles, right? Right here to here, 24 miles. Right here to here, almost 30 miles, 28, 29 miles. And that's what that is. All right. Capiche? Let me go ahead and get out of that. And we could get back to what's her name? Because she's cooking right now.
Different between the Northern Bering Sea and the Chukchi Sea. So there's a very controlled and measured and United Nations, I guess, advocated plan and, purpose for how you're supposed to actually go in there and get through. 6 areas of precaution are noted. So the Maritime Organization also designated 3 areas to be avoided around Alaska's Nunavut, King, and St. Lawrence Islands. Well, if we think there's actually land in there and there's 3 time zones worth of land in there, it does make a lot of sense that they have to navigate it So this is a big step forward as the U.S. Coast Guard continues to work together with international, interagency, and maritime stakeholders to make our waterways safer. And then the routes take effect on December 1st. Their use is voluntary, but they ensure mariners that they can transit in deep water without natural obstructions. What would those natural obstructions be?
Running aground, huh?
And then they say here that safe shipping measures, they say there are few resources north or south of the Bering Strait to respond to a spill. Oh no, there might be a spill. So this could cause serious damage. And so they have to start, really making cases against doing that and allowing people into the region, right? So these measures will keep vessels on their safest course and reduce the risk of them running aground, colliding, or interfering directly with subsistence hunting. And that's just another component. I won't talk about that too much, but the land belongs to certain people groups in that region, and therefore you're not allowed to go there if you don't belong to one of those people groups. And as long as those people groups can be educated into who they are and what that region, the history of that region, as long as they can be educated, then they are the ones that are going to keep that land from being accessed, in my view. So the eastern Bering Sea along Alaska's coast is biologically productive in part because it's shallow, average depths in the eastern Bering range from 6 to 75 meters. The Coast Guard plotted lanes.
Shallow?
So now you have to go in certain lanes to ensure ships of water depths of at least 18.3 meters. And again, they talk about oil spills and things like that. So we don't want to endanger anything. Let's just stay in the right lane. Just keep traveling down this little line that you should stay in. Don't diverge from that because it could be very dangerous for everybody. And then, do airplanes fly directly across or over the Pacific Ocean? Flying directly across the Pacific Ocean requires a significant amount of fuel. However, curved routes are often preferred as they can be shorter due to the Earth's spherical shape. Well, let's say the Earth's not spherical. Like, I don't believe it is. Let's say the Earth is a flat plane and you're not making a curved shape. You're actually going across a different area than what you think you are. Inclement weather and winds may also impact your route selection, affecting fuel efficiency.
I'm sorry, what'd she say?
Routes are often preferred as they can be shorter due to the Earth's spherical shape. Well, let's say the Earth's not spherical. Like, I don't believe it is.
Thank you.
Let's say the Earth is a flat plane and you're not making a curved shape. You're actually going across a different area than what you think you are.
There we go.
Inclement weather and winds may also impact your route selection, affecting fuel efficiency and cost. So safety, fuel efficiency, they give you lots of reasons to avoid that area, don't they? And then if you're to fly, say, from North America across the South Pacific, that's okay. You can go ahead and do that. That should be fine. Because now you're not actually flying across that region that they've hidden, that they don't want you to see. So
going from the US to I could tell y'all I actually took pictures of it. What I'm gonna do is like I'll upload it. But yeah, I took pictures of the map that they said that we were flying over. They said that we were flying, so we flew from Illinois, and from Illinois we flew, I guess you could say we flew up, right? We flew up over Canada and them. And then we flew towards Russia, outside of Russia, and towards like the St. Lawrence Islands and stuff, or St. Lawrence Island. St. Lawrence Island is south of the Bering Strait, and we were covering that. We were covering right through there, coming down. It's weird because we were going up and then we're going down, but we were heading down. Just bear with me. We were going over that. We went over that part of like past the North Pole, right? So now I guess you could say we're coming down. We're flying down along that big body of water, right? Past the international, I guess splitting the difference of the international date line, flying down over the Aleutians. And according to that map, yeah, the Pacific Rim, we flew right over that joker, man, headed right towards Japan. You know what I'm saying? And I took pictures of the map. of course, I had a bitch seat. So we were in like we had a big giant cabin with like 10 rows of seats or some shit. And I was like in bitch in the middle, man. I ain't like that shit at all. I should have just paid for one of them little outside seats, but I didn't. So yeah, I was in a bitch seat, so I didn't get access to the windows and I didn't get to look down. Yeah, it was what it was, man. But yeah, that's the route that we took. We took that route to hit Japan. So basically, we flew from Chicago and we just headed north, crossed over north, and then started heading south. So yeah, man, I don't like middle seats, man. F that. F all of that. Confused on a flight to Japan when I went in 2006 or 7. I forgot. So Big Pond Sailing, I don't know where you were flying from, but if you're flying to like those Far East countries and stuff, Hong Kong, Japan, Thailand, and stuff like that, but if you were to fly out of like JFK, you're flying right over close to the North Pole. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So Big Pond Sailing. So you're going to be flying out of O'Hare. And that's where we flew out of. We flew out of O'Hare and then we flew right to Japan. To Narita, and from Narita we went to Haneda. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So So yeah, we took a conglomerate of Alaska's. It's ANA, All Nippon Airlines. So we took them. And yeah, man, it was like matter of fact, I'm sitting here talking all that shit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send it. Hopefully it works because Larry sent me a picture and it wouldn't work. But I'm gonna send this to myself and then let y'all see what my flight route was. And then yeah, like you on the the front seat in front of you, the back of the person's front seat, the head joint. Yeah. Once I get this shit, I'll send it to y'all. I'm saying. So doom, 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 doom. Boom. Send it to my mail. Mud. Boom. Sent. All right. I sent it to myself. So I'm gonna show y'all this right now. Let me see if these pics is in there. Please don't piss me off and not have these motherfuckers in there. Jeez. There it is. All right. Yep. Okay. You download that. You download that. You download that. You download that. Download that. Excuse me. And then download that. Great. It's the Great Space Coaster. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Okay. Let me show ya. What I got. Boom. Boom. Okay. Bet. Where are we at? Okay. There we are. Stop that. Let me present. Share. Boom. Let me show y'all exactly where I was at. Can y'all see that? Let me go ahead and make that bigger. Boom. There it is. So we were Alaska. Boom. Flew right up through Great Lakes, Fairbanks, past Fairbanks, past Nome, and then there we are right there. There goes the straits right here. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, that's better. This right here is that St. Lawrence Island, right? That's the St. Lawrence Island, the Pacific Rim. And then this is where we're flying. Boom, right in this big ass body of water right here. Kamchatka Peninsula, Aleutians, Bering Sea. Bering Sea, that's what it is. Bering Sea. Jeez, I don't know why the fuck I just forgot that shit. Oh, Lord. Of course it ain't going to work. Okay. Now it's not going to work. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, let's get back to the show, man. My bad, y'all. No, that shit don't want to work.
Crossing the Bering Strait, despite the
My
fact that a ferry could potentially cross from the USA to Siberia in 2 hours. I don't know why they say it would take that long, because it's so close, allegedly. Political hurdles restrict traffic across the body of water. It is virtually impossible for a Westerner to receive permission to arrive on the Russian shores of the Bering Strait. Think about that. Don't even try it. It won't work. You will not be able to. It's virtually impossible. So I hope I've made the case today to show you that there has been a massive cover-up in the region of the Bering Sea. 3 time zones worth of land has been erased from our awareness. There has been a consecutive effort to militarize the areas surrounding that region.
1702.
And we know from the historical evidence provided, the translation of this land, that the Terra de Jesu is the land of Jesus. And we've even seen on one of the maps it's referred to as the camp of Jesus. Is that the camp of the saints? Is that where the beloved city is? We've also seen that land attaches across the middle of the plain, so across the broad plain, to the land of Jesus. We know that there is a building military effort in the region of Greenland. We know that there are 4 quarters in the very center at the north. And we know that there's BlackRock there as well. And I do have suspicion that BlackRock is actually the program or the money that is funding the Gog Magog emergence, and that the plan for them to
go against the
camp of the saints, to surround, to compass the camp of the saints in the beloved city, is being funded by all of these nations that have been deceived, and that those, the sands of the sea, the nations as the sand of the sea, are going to come up over the broad plain of the earth from the 4 quarters of the earth, and they are going to make war against the camp of the saints and Jesus. And that the Lord will, we read in Esdras 13, 2nd Esdras 13, that the Lord will protect his own, and that he has a plan. And ultimately, it is the sovereignty of God that determines what's happening. It is not the enemy that's determining what's happening. It's the Lord. He is sovereign. Our days are in his hand. Our lives are in his hand, whether we decide to do one thing or another. We do have free will. We have the free will to study according to scripture, what God wants us to know. We have free will to believe that Jesus said what he was going to do when he said he was coming to judge the earth, and we can believe that he set up his kingdom. We have the free can believe the common narrative in the church of today that will tell you that, oh no, Jesus is coming sometime in the future, and we just have to be ready for that. You could also fall into the deceptions that are being perpetuated by the Theosophist Society. For example, the Theosophists have designed a program, a false Christ emergence, and that is to be taking place allegedly 2025, 2026. We know it's the 250th year anniversary of the United States of America, which was actually designed to bring in the New World Order. We have the Liberty cult running the world. These people align themselves as Gog and Magog under their father, the devil, and they do his bidding because he gives them all of the power and the wealth and the influence on the earth during this little season. And that is what they're after, So I want to encourage you. And the last thing I want to say is that this information about the land of Jesus is actually the nail in the coffin for futurist dispensationalism and preterism. Because if the land of Jesus exists, and he rules and reigns there with his saints and the people that are living in peace, then we know that it's not a future state, and we know that it's not symbolic like the preterists would like to say. It is a literal state of the kingdom of Jesus Christ on earth. And I would like to say, I'd just like to draw a line under that. I think obviously there's more research to be done. Go do some yourself. I think this is a very, very worthwhile study. The last thing I want to say is that I alluded to an announcement that's coming, and there will be an announcement coming of how we can all be involved. I'm going to be announcing at some point soon. A group of us have come together, and we have created a not-for-profit organization. There are no people being paid, but we will be funding research into the regions of the North and around this particular study, the various aspects of what we can do. And we're also going to, I would like to call people to be involved in, contributing to research. Do your own research and submit what you're doing, what you're finding, and we can build up our own library of information.
So there you go, guys. Rumham Solo, I don't know if you're on right now, but Rumham Solo, this is your green light, my friend. So Rumham Solo's been checking that lady out, and if she's single, Rumham Solo, this is probably your lucky night, homie. So yeah, man. So we've been kind of looking at yeah. So we've been looking at you was waiting for the grift. Oh shit. Awakened Nemesis is awake. He's wide awake. Yeah. And then he's with Harmon. Thank you for that, Harmon. Yeah, you got it. You got it, Maria Walker. So Rumham Solo's like, yeah, man, I'll give you some research. I'll give you some DNA to research. Rumham Solo's he's here for it though. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I studied that stuff and went on missions. So yeah, all religions are self-righteous and only they are right. Okay, all right. I hear Harmon. Okay. So we're doing our part. We're looking at this stuff. We're wherever they think it points, wherever this map takes us is where it takes us. Yeah, Rumham Solo, I know you here for it. Always looking for Jesus, but nobody ever finds Jesus unless Jesus finds them first. Jesus like, oh, got you, found you, tag, you're it. And so you stayed up. I'm so glad. Yeah, me too. I'm so glad you stayed up too, Isabel. Know what he says. We ought to know the season. Yeah. Man, it's a very strange time that we're living in. We're living in a very strange time. You've got this president in Africa, Ibrahim Traore, that the US government is saying needs democracy. And we know that's code word for we're going to kill the brown guy. So the world is pissed. You know what I'm saying? The world is mad. The world is upset at our government for making these claims saying that they need some democracy over in Burkina Faso. You know what I'm saying? And black people, white people, people from around the world are like, you leave him alone. Leave him alone. So it's a very interesting time. I've never in my life seen people link up trying to protect one man, not even American, not even close, doesn't make cars, doesn't make computers, doesn't make a vaccine. He's just trying to make peace for his people. He's trying to make what appears to be, what I think, it looks innocent enough, right? If you guys don't know the story of Ibrahim Traore, he's the president he's the leader out of Burkina Faso. And we're trying to fuck with his stilo. We're trying to fuck up what he got going on. Fuck it all the way up. And so I think it's a very interesting time indeed. Very interesting time. It's very interesting to look at the whole world pissed at the US. Like, leave that motherfucker alone. Don't even do it. Right? I don't know. So let's wrap it up with this lady. I want to give our brother Rumham Solo a little bit more eye candy for him to take a look at. You know what I'm saying? And hear what else she's got to say. But this is a very good video. I appreciate you, Godheart Guardian. Also, you as well, Pebbles. Thank you very much for that. This is a very good video.
So that it's not one person, just broadcasting it, it's actually groups of people all over the earth. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? So that's the goal. We do have a lot already in place, but we're going to be announcing that soon. The website should be done soon. There's a lot of people working very hard. You know, we all have regular lives. We have jobs, we have families, we have other responsibilities that we're taking care of in our lives. So please be patient. Something is coming soon. So I just wanted to give you that as well. But let's pray through this time that the Lord gives us insight, understanding, wisdom, and discernment.
Wisdom.
And I would also add to that sobriety. You know, as much as this time brings us together and we're enjoying, you know, meeting people of the same mind, and there's more people every day coming to this knowledge, I would say just, you know, just remember the fear of the Lord. Let's not, you know, bring the worldly ways with us. My real, you know, I have fear of the Lord. You know, I read the word and I actually am so humbled and so honored to be in a position to be able to share these things with you, but that the Lord is showing me these things.
Rumham Solo, man, I hate to have to tell you, bruh. I don't think she's just gonna let you smash on the first take. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she's married or not, but if she's not married, I don't know if she's just gonna let you hit it like that. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to, you know, read your Bible, man. You know, talk about going to Bible study. You know, butter her up a little bit. You know, prep her up. If she's not married, I'm saying, you know, get on her good side. That maybe, you know what I'm saying? You could go ahead. You could clap something. Ay. Rumham want to get all up in them guts, boy. Rumham want to drop some ham somewhere. I get it. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to put some pork somewhere. Let me stop talking shit, man. Let me stop talking shit. Let me let this lady cook, man. Let me let her finish up.
It's very humbling. I don't look for this position. It's not something that I ever wanted, but I'm blessed to do it, and I am blessed to serve the Lord in this way. And so I would just say, in whatever you're doing, be sober before the Lord. You know, this isn't some kind of joke. You know, we're not doing this as some kind of fun pastime. You know, like, be serious about this. I think it's really important to just have a sense of fear of the Lord as we do this. But on that note, I want to encourage you. The Lord is here. Jesus is here. The saints are here. You know, we have probably a limited time ahead of us until we know more about what's going on, but just seek the Lord. Pray.
Rumham Solo, he's the tip of the sword, all right. He's like, I'll give her my sword tip. Rumham ready, boy. That my man's primed him ready. He's like, where my Bible at? Rumham's like, yo, where my Bible at, man?
And find his will for what you should do. I know collectively that's kind of what we're doing already. So I want to encourage you. And I'll just read this
I did,
passage
Maria.
again because it is so beautiful, and it's about our Lord Jesus. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Isaiah 9, 6-7. Amen. Take care. I'll talk to you next time. Bye now.
Me stop. Yo, that was dope. That's what's up right there. That's what's up. We got that bitch Ruda to Tuda. I'm not saying that she's yeah, he's like, yo, he's like, I'll give her some of my flat power. Look at this Rumham Solo just being, look at you just being nasty. Rumham Solo over there being nasty. My man over there talking that mess. Rumham, shame on you, dog. Shame. Shame. Rumham being a bad boy. Yeah, he gonna have them flat babies. Bust the plane. Tiffany Vinci. This makes so much sense and connects many dots. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, what it does also, what I'm noticing in the chat, and again, man, I love the Foundry. You guys are amazing. But what I did notice in the chat is some people got pissed. They were like, Jesus, oh man, nah, I don't know, man. Jesus is in there. I don't know, dog. Every time Jesus' name come up, hey, look, if it points at a Jesus or if it don't matter to me, man. If some of the stuff makes some of the map make sense, then I find it interesting. I don't care if it points to Jesus. I don't care if it points to Allah. I don't care. I don't. I find the stuff extremely interesting. And you should too, right? There may be something in it. So check it out. You know what I'm saying? It don't hurt to check it out. Don't just knock it because she was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. There might be something behind this Jesus thing, you know? There might be something behind this Jesus thing. I'm willing to look, you know. We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know, the most influential and purchased book in the history, selling millions per year still to this day. Luckily for us, they infiltrated, yep, every single thing in the world, but left the Bible unmolested. Yeah, nah, I got you. Yeah, they tore that thing down. Here she goes again. The end of times. Woe, woe unto man. Woe unto you. Just like my great grandfather used to say. Just like my great grandfather used to say. Just like my okay. It's the end of the world. Nah, I got you. Yeah. They twisted it so people don't know what it means. Nah, that's right. That's right. I think there's a lot going on in the Bible, man, that it might be coded. A lot of it might be coded, and yeah, man, they lied to us all the way around. Probably you should probably look at it. Right. If there's a satanic force, I would look around. The other part of the storyline is probably true to the extent or another. Okay. Still love him. There we go. Allow yourself to falsify your belief system. Okay. If I had a nickel for every time an eccentric Christian told me it was the end of the world, the end times, I'd be rich. A nickel? Damn. Okay. Everybody wants to recognize Satan and his existence, all the truth community, but turn away from Jesus in the Bible. Yeah. That's a good point. Exactly, Cajun Art Guild. Hey, Porter's in the house. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you, man. I saw a bunch of y'all coming in here that I didn't say hi to. Porter, of course, being one of them. How you doing, bro? Howie's in the house. Cajun Art Guild. How you doing? All right. The Akinator. I know I missed you too, man. What's good? Nubik as well. Nubik's in the house. Yes. Tiffany Vinci holding it down on the Rumble side. How you doing, sis? Yeah. All right. Yeah, man. Who else? Marcy Chan. I don't think I formally said hi to you. Heresy Seed. I don't think I formally said hi to you neither. What's happening, y'all? It's good to see y'all. Good to see you. All right. The Akinator. Yeah. The True Few. The True Few came through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. FE Nation. I didn't say what's up to you. So what's up, FE Nation? Glenn Salch. I didn't formally say hi to you neither. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm saying hi at the end right now. I'm about to wrap that shit up. Because I gotta go take a shower. I got all kinds of shit I need to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna call it a night, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna call it a night tonight. But yeah, man, it's been real. Oh man, I love hanging out with y'all. I love talking it up with y'all. Tonight was a really good night. We needed to discuss the North. The North needed a lot of attention. You know what I'm saying? Concentrate on keeping our asses alive alone, let alone research fairy tales about Jesus, the Jew born in Palestine, and us welcoming back with our Hasidic Talmudic psychos. I got you. Hey man, Awakened Nemesis has a way of saying things, don't he? I got you, man. What it's doing is awesome. This whole household, man. I love y'all back, man. The whole household is amazing. I love y'all, man. Thank you. I appreciate everything y'all do, man. And I appreciate y'all coming through, sharing it with us tonight. You know what I'm saying? And Harmon says, how do you say that the Bible's the most bought book, especially when there's at least 500 million more Muslims in the world? That's a one-sided. I think that's a one-sided statement. You don't think so? You know what I'm saying? So that's me talking in Harmon right there. That's Harmon talk right there. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, like usual, you guys have my email address. It's ironwork92000@gmail.com. Go ahead, hit me up. Hit me up. I'd love to hear your story. Yes, the North is important. Yes, we're going to get back. We're going to get back to discussing the North. And I'm glad that this lady, that Rum Ham, man, make your move, baby, make your move. They can't resist the ham. I love it. Make your move, Rum Ham. So I'm glad that this lady went ahead and made the video, and I'm glad that Godheart Guardian, you dropped that in my face and made me go to it. Thank you. And to you, Pebbles, for dropping it in my face first. I shout out to you as well. Everybody's going to get their due respect. Thank you. And yes, it's some very insightful stuff that we looked at, going over the maps again, introducing us to new things of the map that I hadn't seen before, that many of us didn't recognize, that many of us hadn't seen before, right? And just putting some things together, talking through the video, I think helped a great deal. At least it did for me, and made some things make sense. I hope it did for you as well. But yeah, man, it was amazing night, amazing show. And really, that's all I got. You know what I'm saying? If they ain't no save rounds, which I don't think they are, I think we did good tonight. You know what I'm saying? So before it turns 11 o'clock on the East Coast over here, I am going to bid the Foundry adieu. But before I do, I want to go ahead and give you guys my blessing, family. Family, I wish you guys nothing but the best health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity, but most of all, wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. These days, especially, man, that the shelves may be a little bit sparse, maybe a little bit empty. Who knows? But so do your shopping as soon as you fucking can. All right, make sure y'all do y'all shopping ASAP. Please do that and take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Family, I hope to see you this Friday again. Not to be late or nothing, but basically, same bat channel, same bat time, like clockwork, 7:30 East Coast time. I think that was a bar, but I'm gonna let it ride. Anyway, family, that's it for tonight. I love you guys. I'm out. Moving on up. Peace, peace. Peace out, y'all. Y'all be safe.
Yes, we're moving on up to